Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are kicking off tonight. I hope you're all there. I know it was a bit of a scuffed start today, we had some issues to work out, but here we are, 6 p.m., ready to kick off. I believe the teams are almost ready behind me, and I do believe I have Billy Django Willing ready with me right here.
Oh, I'm so ready, man. It's our second last week of, of the tournament before we go into finals. We've got some huge games coming up this week, and we're about to kick it off with a big one.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually ever been super close towards the end weeks. Normally the standings have sorted themselves out, but right now there's quite the dispute between that third, fourth, fifth position, and maybe even second if Youngbloods start to slip. I don't know. Do you feel like you're going to hold on to that position?
Nah, we're basically the best team in the world after Jupiter's, obviously. Other than that, like you said, yeah, it's so close, man. We've got Job Seekers and Corona Spaceship coming up next, and I've said this a million times. Corona Spaceship has really snuck into the top four. They've been the big dark horse of the tournament, and Job Seekers have kind of been pushed out because of it. And I don't know if we can see the win here. I think we might see Job Seekers. If they get the win, they might be able to sneak back into the top four. It could be huge for Job Seeker win today.
Yeah, it's basically needed for them to get this win. I think the only timeline where they are going to make it in is if they can kick down Corona Spaceship here and just try and climb over them, sneaking into that fourth spot right now. And of course, with some luck, maybe if Destiny at that fourth spot also continues to win crucial games, then they'll continue to climb as well, and they can sneak into fourth. But right now, yeah, it's looking pretty difficult. They're definitely going to win this matchup versus Corona Spaceship if they've got any sort of shot.
Can't wait for this game to get going. It's going to be so good.
Big stakes on the line. I wonder how they're going to play this one out. They are playing Zonox jungle instead of Sergeant Crane. I believe he was here, but looks like Zonox is being fielded for this match here, and yeah, Job Seekers are gonna ride or die with this lineup for this match here. I have to do the...
Is Zonox their main jungler? I think Sergeant Crow's probably played more games at this point, but
yeah, I think they've played equal games, but Zonox always seems to be the fill player that kind of feels. I believe he's got a top game in there. He had a support game in there, so he's kind of been the just fill person whenever the whole Job Seekers roster doesn't show up. But right now, I did see Sergeant Crone in here before, but they've actually decided to field him. Of course, Sergeant Crone being very great jungler, but he's a bit inconsistent with that champion pool. Of course, not able to get all the champs he wants. So maybe Zonox has a secret pick that no one's researched because he hasn't been playing those games. And they're gonna bank it all on this Zonox pick here, so I'm ready to see what he's gonna bust out.
And yeah, yes. I hope it's big. He's got big shoes to fill. Sergeant Crone's had a pretty good year on the jungle, I have to say. It has been the fill, like you said, yeah, while people have been away. But looks like, Job Seekers are here with their full team. They're ready to square down. Coming out of bans, we've noticed no Renekton ban for Job Seekers, but they've still gone to first pick the Ezreal.
Yeah, so first time in a while Chris has access to that Renekton, but you can only imagine that they have something prepared for it. If he's only got that one pick left that they're super scared of, you can always pick something that does especially well into that Renekton. So it's not all fine and dandy for Chris Strider here. Even if he picks that Renekton, he might not find himself in a favorable matchup. And right now, Ezreal into Zac is what we've got here. We'll see what the round 2 for Corona Spaceship is, but already Ezreal, of course, being able to dodge out on that Zac, but Zac's especially sticky. He can land the Qs after, and with a Malzahar now locked in, that's most likely going mid lane. So
yeah, this is going to be an absolute dumpster mid lane. Just straight away, the Malzahar ult into Zac E, man. So much CC coming out in this team already. They're going to be careful with, the picks that come out next. I think they're going to make a big difference.
And I was hoping to see this. I'm not sure if anyone's been keeping up with this champion Jarvan for. He's been quiet so long, but all of a sudden, just a quick buff, right, sneaks under the table, and then this champion's win rate is going up like crazy in the jungle, in the top lane even, people picking him up. We might even see Jarvan support like the old days coming back into meta here with this champion.
That's a throwback right there. That's what's a throwback.
But looks like Chris Strider's not shy away from that Malzahar. Of course, Malzahar being able to play safe. He doesn't bring a lot of damage, unfortunately. So I still think Renekton can get the priority in this matchup. So he goes straight for that Renekton pick there. He can still rotate that to the top lane, but it's Chris Strider. I'm expecting to see that go mid lane.
Yeah, this is big. I think it's the first time. You know, it might have been let through a couple times before, but it's the first time he's picked the Renekton. So they're just one of his champions that has like a 98% ban rate in all of his games that he's played in the tournament this year. Now's the time to show why you have to respect that pick, why you have to ban it out.
Yeah, speaking of ban rate, On Fleek also has that Kai'Sa taken away from him quite often, but he's managed to get his hands on that pick here. And now they're just taking away the favoured champion pool of Jobseeker's support players there. Stairboy and Shortmaster both swap around a lot, and they're targeting both of them. I believe Stairboy loves that Blitzcrank, but Shortmaster loves that Thresh. Taking both away here, and just another hook champion off the table, just for good measure, taking away that Nautilus. And yeah, if we look at these bans, just 4 support bans in just the last 4 bans there, they're really pinching this pool. So hopefully the support players have some deep pockets, because they're going to need them here.
Yeah, this will be big. We have seen Stairboy and Shortmaster favor the MF Blitzcrank. Obviously, with the Blitzcrank gone, I wonder if they have maybe another Joy Lane paired up, or maybe something to fill the space for Blitzcrank.
Oh, going for that Rakan, they're going for even more engage here. They've got the Zac and the Rakan just ready to wreak havoc, and that Kai'Sa is going to be looking for the Killer Instinct entries, and just the Malzahar doubling down with that CC on any sort of counter engage there, or just doubling down on any caught out victim. They've got quite the CC comp right here.
Absolutely, it's huge. You definitely can't take MF into this comp. Obviously, the Ezreal's already been picked up. The brand coming out.
That is brave. That is extremely brave into some of these champions. You know, if you ever misposition versus that Rakan, that Zac, they're going to eat you alive here, picking out an immobile mage like that brand here, and I can only imagine it's going into the support role with what's left on the table here, but they did need some magic damage, so definitely an easy remedy is to pick a damage support like Brand or Zara and help supplement that magic damage.
Absolutely, it's going to be high risk, high reward here, and the Tahm Kench coming out for Nooblis in the top lane too. Recently nerfed?
Oh, I wasn't even sure. I don't see him poke up in those patch notes recently, but he might have copped a small nerf in anything. Normally I remember like the big changes, I commit them to memory, but if it's just like, oh, you take off 180, you know, you don't really remember it that much. It's like,
oh god, coming out to match it. Damn, alright, this game's looking so spicy actually. Yeah, like you said, I think when you take the Renekton, mid lane, you do kind of put yourself in a hole where, you know, there's just not that many AP top laners, and most, like, the ones that do a lot of AP damage are tanks, and you usually build them that way too. So having to force your way into like a high damage support like Brand in the bot lane is such high risk. You know, yeah, like you said, the Zac, the Rakan, like the team just has so many ways onto Shortmaster for this game. He's gonna probably want to play out of his mind for this one.
Yeah, definitely have to keep an eye on that bot lane. It's been such a pivotal part of Job Seekers this season, but now I feel like there's a lot of power going between mid and jungle of Job Seekers right here. Malzahar, of course, has that wave clear, but he really has no pressure in killing that Renekton. He could cast 50 spells in that Crocodile. He does not care. The Malzahar doesn't have much DPS early game. It's more of a scaling pick. So having that super early game powerhouse like Renekton, he's probably going to struggle to kill a range champ like Malzahar, but he can definitely secure some priority. And with another early game champion like Jarvan in the mix, I'm expecting to see some aggressive plays coming out of Job Seekers, at least around the mid jungle.
For sure, this game is really squared up to be quite the fiesta. It's going to be some big team fightings. I'm expecting some early, you know, picks, a lot of roaming, and a lot of priority from the jungles, you know, favoring some ganks around these ones. So spicy. It's a big high stakes game. They've gone for high stakes champions, high stake picks.
We've got pretty similar comps too. I think the main difference is it's a lot harder for this Job Seekers side to engage the fights that they want. Obviously, relying heavily on that Jarvan there to find out any people out of position to secure those fights, but they've got Zac, they've got the Rakan, they've got so many tools here on the other side and able to start off these fights, and the front to back on both sides is pretty crazy. But I'm especially worried for those immobile champions like that Brand, or possibly even the Malzahar. If he doesn't have the spell shield up, they're just easy pickings for some of these champions. So definitely have to keep an eye on the carries. Of course, the front lines mean a lot, but it's really the carries that are going to be putting out the damage, carrying these team fights. And honestly, that's where OnFleek has specialized. We've seen this man, as soon as he's ignored in some of these games, he's put in the carry position, he just absolutely pops off. He's gotten a pentakill, for God's sake, on that vein. So we really got to be careful of this OnFleek Kai'Sa here. This seems like the kind of game where he's just going to pop off. But we'll see what job seekers have in store.
Yeah, it's going to be, absolutely crazy. I think, it is really going to come down to how this early game is played. I think if Corona Spaceship can get away with the early game, get some leads in their lanes, which is looking to probably be difficult in mid and top, I think Corona Spaceship will get away with the game. But the longer it goes, I think it's really going to be in the favor of job seekers. And we know they're really good at, dragging out those games and, cutting the Fiesta and just, turtling, getting the farm.
Yeah, they've had some long ones this season, but we're about to hop into game. But before we're going to go over to our sponsors and give them a shout out here, guys. Over to our major sponsors of the season, we have the Territory's own Paul's Ice Coffee celebrating their 60th anniversary, along with the Northern Territory Government and McDonald's Darwin, also our major sponsors of the season, doing such a great job. We're going to have to vote on our Northern Territory government soon, guys. Early voting is up, I believe, so I've probably got to make a pit stop on the way home from work one of these days. Make sure I get my vote in. Let's get that out of the way. I honestly don't even know who I'm going to vote yet. Haven't done my research, but it's neither here nor there. But also, the minor sponsors deserve a shout out here, guys. Next Day Entertainment, Serotonic Beauty, VR Gamers, Game & Creations, Tracy Village Social and Sports Club, Howard Springs Tavern, The Rabbit Hole, Palace of India, Fresh Point Cafe, John John's Diamond Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting. Support local, guys. Make sure you give these guys a shout out. Make sure you visit, scan the QR code. You get your discounts at these places, and it won't be for much longer because I believe once the season's over, you're going to lose out on these opportunities. But who knows? If you're good enough friends with the owners, just tell them we sent you. You might still get some goodies. You
might get lucky, get a nice cheeky feed.
But yeah, we are into our loading screen here. Can't wait to see what's going to happen between these two teams. And yeah, it looks like just the aggressive keystones across the board here. I can see already coming out. I'm looking forward to the bloodbath that is about to begin.
Yeah, the Halo Blades and the Kai'Sa, the Electrocute on Jarvan. It's gonna be a fiesta. This is the best kinds of games to cast, best games to tune in for.
Yeah, and it's such a high stake match, just FYI guys, this doesn't guarantee job seekers into the top 4 at all, but this is basically like their last chance, if anything. There's probably some timelines where some miracle happens, they can still make it, but this is the most consistent. I think your chances of making top 4 as job seekers drop to about 10% or something right now if you drop this game, but if they win it, it's probably a 50-50. So, we will see what they're able to do.
Job seekers have to play against Youngbloods next week. So, I mean, even then, Corona Spaceship could. They still have to play a game against Youngbloods as well. That's a game that didn't get played due to some unforeseen circumstances. We're still pending that one. It's an important game for us to be watching, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see what is going to transpire. Nothing in the early game, it seems, as all teams just fan out and guard their jungle entrances. But, yeah, I feel like it's going to be a lot of mid-jungle focus on the side of job seekers. Chris Strider, of course, has the ignite into this lane matchup. He wants to be trying to kill this Malzahar, even though there's not too much kill pressure. As long as that spell shield is up, if you're able to just get close enough to poke it off, it's actually a 30-second cooldown, so it's very exploitable in the laning phase if you keep the pressure up on that Malzahar. But of course, if you're playing that far forward, you open yourself up to ganks yourself, so got to keep an eye on the junglers this game for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be big. Like you said, nothing happening. Both junglers starting on the bot side. Maybe we'll see some early top ganks. I'm a bit of an Urgot main. I've got a bit of, mastery in that area, and I actually don't think this is a particularly good lane for him. Especially if he's, just going to take the standard flash TP. He's going to really struggle against this Tahm Kench. It's so easy to hit skill shots, and the champion isn't particularly fast either. So I'm going to expect to see probably Noobless pick away with a little lead in this one.
Yeah, of course, the Urgot is not known for his early game, and if we're seeing a little play onto bot lane, they get the flash out of Stairboy, but that is all they're going to get out of this play here. Nicely avoided gank there from the side of Job Seekers, but we'll see whether that flash comes back to haunt them as they get this first gank off.
Huge level 2 gank. It's real dangerous. I think, Zonox is trying to get this clear going real quick. It looks like Chris Strider's actually, taking the initiative. He's going to go ward that red buff. Just so they have, complete knowledge. They're going to know exactly when Zac hits that top side. Hopefully allowing Job Seekers to get some prio early.
Yeah, Zonox has a big opportunity to punish with all this knowledge granted to him now. He has definitely the fast track on a gank of his own. He's able to find something, but we'll see whether the bot lane has lost anything. Of course, being into that Rakan and no flash, the next W might spell your doom, but fortunately for him, Kai'Sa isn't exactly an early game powerhouse. But yeah, Zonox right now is actually looking quite low in the jungle. I know that one of the main things Jarvan did struggle with versus most junglers is his clear just doesn't really match them as well, but jungling isn't too bad. I think if he kills that Gromp and he smites the Scuttle, he's probably going to be around full health and maybe can look for something here. But yeah, definitely want to see something out of Zonox after that level 2 gank went down the bot lane.
Yeah, he's going to make something happen soon. I mean, he's looking like a pretty good gank. Once again, Urgot super huge, super easy at skill shots. He's got the ward. He's going to walk over it, but maybe Pandemonium doesn't notice here. I don't think... Oh, he has the Abyssal Dive. He's waiting for it. Here it comes.
He doesn't quite land it. So close, and now the minion wave is there. It's very dangerous for them to continue to pursue that kill. That was actually so close. Pandemonium holding onto that flash. Just absolute cold blood there. Doesn't flinch with that Abyssal Voyage coming right next to him there. So already...
Yeah, he knew he was living that one. I think, Noobless tried to hold the Abyssal Dive to try and time it into the J4 knocker, but the Abyssal Dive has such like a long charge up that you kind of have to, guess that Zonox is going to hit it. And, I don't think it's a big risk to do that either.
Oh, and look at the chunk out onto the mid lane there. No spell shield for that Malzahar, and he gets stunned up in his tracks and taken down to just a quarter of his health there almost. It's looking pretty bad for him, but he does have that teleport for himself, so he should be able to get a reset off in time. But yeah, Chris...
Pandemonium's just used his as well, so I think, it's... Something's going to happen in the bot lane. We want to see Quoro probably try and get a gank down there when he can. You're not going to get the TPs, so they're going to need some jungle pressure to get ahead here, I believe.
Yeah, Chris Strider has such a presence right now. He's basically full health in his lane still. Has a decent CS lead he's been able to build for himself, and he's burnt that TP now. So he's doing pretty well for himself in this Renekton mid lane, but yeah, once that Malzahar starts to get some levels, then he starts to hurt a lot more, and he can poke you down, especially once he hits that mythic. Liandry's is going to absolutely burn through that Crocodile if he's not careful. So we'll see how this matchup continues to play, but yeah, right now not as much action as we expected. Here the junglers are being pretty tame, not spamming ganks left, right and center, as most junglers love to do in Esports, but yeah, they're playing it intelligently here, for sure. It's just only a matter of time before that objective fight happens over the dragon, or possibly some roams come out of these mid laners or junglers. Chris Strider going in for a cheeky little trade, but yeah, Malzahar starting to fight back now. Beautiful stun there by Shortmaster. He's able to trade back onto Thievens, and Zonox is in the area here. He has no abilities on that Rakan. He has to be careful. Flash still available. He might be able to outplay this, but it's looking very bad for Thievens. He doesn't quite get caught by that flag and drag. He does flash it in time, but I would have loved to see some Jarvan mechanics there if he did the EQ flash to catch out on the other flash. So much mind games you can do with Jarvan in these gank scenarios, but he'll take the flash.
Yeah, that's it. And it was super close too. I think we're gonna see, this mid lane start to heat up pretty shortly too. A Renekton, the engage is much harder now while the Malzahar has his ulti up. He has to hit the stun immediately, or he's just going to get, locked down himself, and it should allow Celestial to probably walk out of any more engaged the Renekton gets. So it's going to be important for Chris Strider to try and maybe bait that out and keep the stun till after his ult ends. I'm not too sure how to play it.
Yeah, there's always the risk factor. Any engage he tries to make, he's probably pushing into that Malzahar's side there, and of course the Zac with that elastic slingshot can probably gank from any angle. If he's locked up by that ultimate, he's probably easy pickings for that Zac to come in and get that gank off, so he has to be very careful of the Zac's positioning right now. But KoroPro is on the farming warpath there. He's currently doing pretty well. He's a level up over his opponent here and 7 CS up, but Zonox has actually opted for interesting item choice here. This isn't going to be the traditional Jarvan we're used to seeing with that Gore Drinker. He's actually going for that full damage Jarvan here. It seems like the serrated Dirk. He's looking to one-shot some of these squishies.
Hell yeah, and I actually like that a lot more. It's, the three members that are probably going to be doing the most damage are, On Fleek and Celestial are going to be doing so much, and Fevins is going to be doing all the playmaking. So if Zonox can just one-shot them early with a good combo ult, it's going to be huge. That's really what was buffed too, was the damage scaling for Jarvan as well. So I actually think lethality might even secretly be better. I haven't done too much testing myself.
Oh, it looks like we're going to have an all-in in the top lane here. Maybe not an all-in, but this looks like a favourable trade for that Tahm Kench. He doesn't end up dropping his ultimate here, but we can see just how easily the Tahm Kench is winning it. Pandemonium does come off the flash there. Doesn't quite connect with the Q, but yeah, you got to be careful. This Tahm Kench champion, he doesn't seem very threatening. He doesn't have that many abilities, but trust me, this frog hurts if he gets you in a scenario like that.
Yeah, it's really nicely played by Nooblis. It's going to be really tricky for Pandemonium to try and get ahead here. After he hits 6, he doesn't really, get the damage that he needs, because Nooblis can shield before he gets the ult. There's an engage mid lane,
and that's going to be
the ult.
Easy pickings there. He did exactly what you said. He knocked off the spell shield before dropping that stun there, and Celestial had no idea that Zonox was on the wings there. With that lethality, you saw the damage he was able to bring, assisting Chris Strider to get that kill, and they pick up first blood for this game.
Yeah, it's so huge. Get this, once you've opted into the damage on the Jarvan too, you just start snowballing off to get that first kill too. It's going to be interesting to see how he buys when he gets back, and, how we can keep pushing this lead further.
Yeah, and look, this bot lane right now has been pretty quiet. It looks like they've been trading back and forth, but I think after this wave's farmed up by OnFleek, they have a small advantage in the way of that Kai'Sa. But Ezreal's pretty good at holding his own in this meta right now. He's got items like Divine Sunder that really take this champion to another level in terms of scaling. So a lot of the times in the past you might think that Kai'Sa's a scary late game monster, but Ezreal's by no means slouching in this lane. So going even for them, I'd say, isn't detrimental at all. But still, OnFleek is capable of some scary things on this Kai'Sa. I am sure of that, and look at what they're going to do. Shortmaster's going to drop his flash, but the killer's instinct's available. He's trying to fight as much as he can. He drops them so low, but eventually gets taken down. But Zonox here for the counter gank. He goes for the flag and drag, but flashed out. More action in the top lane. Pandemonium having a little trade here with Nubis, but it seems to lead to nothing here. But yeah, Zonox trying to find some kills on the bot side. Almost gets him, but again, the flash is coming through, giving that counterplay.
Oh, if he has Cataclysm there, it's such a different gank. They were grouped so closely together, even after the brand ult, that if he had Cataclysm, he might have just one-shot them both if he had landed it. Really unfortunate, but I know that's what you get, I suppose. Just some unlucky timing there.
Yeah, but Shortmaster, like we were saying, versus all this engage, you got to be very careful onto those mages here, and you got to be careful. In this top lane, Nubis is going for the all-in onto Pandemonium, but he has the ultimate available and still is holding onto that E, and this is what we're talking about. This Tahm Kench doesn't seem very threatening, but you are half health, so you got hit by one knockup and you are deceased. You got to be careful about this champion.
You just can't win that too, especially, still lower levels. Urgot really doesn't hit his, peak until level 9, until he has that W that's just, permanent. He can keep it on forever and just do, infinite damage with it. But, Nooblis has so many opportunities to CC you, stop you from doing damage to him, and block your ultimate. It's really rough for Pandemonium, and we're going to just see it escalate from here.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that Tahm Kench has the early game advantage here. You got to have a few items on you as that Urgot before you can really start to tear through that armor, and just having the like leg cooldown is the main thing. Just early game, your legs that do most of the damage are in such high cooldown that you're not really able to tear through this Tom Kench. Oh my god, again he's finding Celestial in the mid lane with no flash. It's just too easy for Chris Strider and Zonix, but you just gotta be careful playing as Celestial here. The stun is always gonna be there. You can't let your spell shield be taken down like that. Otherwise, it's just going to be easy pickings. Quopro is looking for the gank bot lane, and here they come. Look at the flash from Thevens onto Shortmaster. He is gone here. They're going to finally pick him up, but they're trading back here. Thevens almost goes down. Quopro comes in with the flash. Eventually, he dies to the burn from Brandon. It is a 1-for-1 in a 3 versus 2 for Job Seekers. You got to be happy with that.
And there's another engage happening top. Pandemonium's looking for the fight again. He has hit level 9 now. That is his power spike. It's going to be tricky for Nooblis here. I think he can just all in though. I think he does win it.
Yes.
As long as he holds his E long enough, I think he'll be fine.
Oh, Quopro, you got to be careful, my man. And being careful was not enough. It is too little too late right now. They're going to take down the Zac passive. And just to add insult to injury, take down that Gromp as well. But Pandemonium is teleported into the bot lane. He tries to land the Fear Beyond Death, but it is nicely dodged by that Ezreal Arcane Shift. Chris Strider finds his way out of the play as well. And they sneak back to their base with that kill on the enemy jungler. And yeah, Jobseek is starting to take off.
Rough. I think if Pandemonium holds his TP for one more second, he can actually just TP onto Quopro's globs and just save him there. And then he's already in the fight as well. His bot lane was on the way back. He TP'd into the river brush instead. It was a bit unfortunate. He got there a bit late. He nearly hit the ultimate on Stairboy, but obviously he's got that dash. He can just dodge that one too. A really rough for Pandemonium. Maybe, got a bit caught out in the pressure over the moment.
Yeah, right now Jobseeker's looking so strong. And the Corona Spaceship have thrown some punches here and there, but there's not been too much initiative play from them. Mostly from that bot lane, catching out Shortmaster. Just abusing that flashless Brand, but right now, eventually that Brand is going to be negligible compared to the rest of his teammates who are just getting so strong here. Quopro is going to try to find his way out with that elastic slingshot, but Chris Strider's there to catch him on the exit. On Fleek making a play in the bot side though, again on Shortmaster. That flashless Brand is getting abused so hard, but right now the team is doing much better. Zonix misses the flag and drag, but On Fleek is just caught out of position there. Thevens can't save him, and he goes down, and the Pandemonium is under the enemy tower, getting destroyed by Nooblis there. Must have gotten devoured and put in a bad situation. That Urgot had no business being under that tower, but right now Job Seekers is looking so powerful in this matchup.
It is really spiraling out of control for Corona Spaceship. It's in all lanes of the map. They're just being gapped at the moment. This is some of the best that we've seen Job Seekers look all year, and if there was ever a time to pull it out, it is now. They're playing so well right now. We spoke that Corona Spaceship kind of needed to get ahead in the early game in order to have a chance to, actually win this game, but the scaling on the side of Job Seekers is just going to be like unmatched in another 5 or 10 minutes. It's going to be really difficult to deal with this Ezreal and this Tahm Kench.
Yeah, and I think it all comes down to jungle activity here. We have just seen Quopro farming his heart to his heart's content, but it's not working out for them. We see that Zonix is getting successful ganks across the board here, as well as keeping up in the farm game. The Zac is not really that farming champion. You got to get some points in this elastic slingshot, and you got to start surprising some of these guys. You have the opportunity. You have such strong engaged bot. You've got such strong engaged mid lane. Even in the top lane, there's been lots of scrappy fights. I'd like to see more activity out of Zac, but right now, with them being so far behind, I think it's still too little, too late. Right now.
And like, just what really can you do? Like Pandemonium, he's just doing negative damage to Nooblis. Obviously, once he gets that Thorn Mail too, your W is actually just doing just as much damage to yourself as you are to the enemy. Bevan's looking for the engage. On Fleek ulting in here as well.
But they don't win it.
Coming out from Stairboy, actually killing Fevens, leaving the 2v1 to clean up on Fleek as well.
And do not...
Shortmaster's brand ult is carrying this bot lane right now. It's doing
And
so much work.
don't look at the top lane either because they've just taken down Pandemonium again. They're just looking like they're out of options. Chronos Spaceship forcing a play, and now the Corpo trying to defend a tower that has already gone down here. He's getting knocked up. Can he make it out away from Nooburst here? I don't think he can with the ultimate being available. Does he get the Devour? Yes, he does. No Elastic Slingshot for you. And he takes them down there, and it is looking really bad for Chronos Spaceship here. They're just getting demolished across the board. The structures are going down. This mid lane soon to follow, and yeah, when your bot lane's making desperate plays like that, they think they catch out the brand, but you're really just playing into his lap there. Yeah, that's just so difficult trying to engage onto that brand Ezreal combo. The Ezreal is completely safe, and if you're ever standing next to each other, that brand is going to tear you to shreds, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, you know, if Bevan's jumping in, he's gonna want to eat out shortly after, but if he cops the ultimate, he's just gonna bring the ulti back to his team, which is what we've just seen him do with on Fleek there as well. It's really tough for him to try and engage on top of this brand now that he's picked up a pretty significant lead onto Rakan. Rakan has the most kills in the game right now. Just to point out if no one's noticed, it's looking quite dire.
Yeah, I don't know the ways back in that. Even on Fleek, who had a little bit of advantage going on there. He was 1-0-1 at some point. Now his scoreline is not looking anywhere near as good. But this flash play from the Malzahar is going to get them surely back into it, at least a little bit. But they committed a lot to that. Yo, a flash, three ultimates,
ignite. Oh gosh. Yeah, look, you got him. You definitely got him there. Oh, yikes, man. And now they kind of have to back. They can't really fight this. Even after that, it's looking grim.
Yeah, it's looking still grim for the team, but there is some hopium left for Chronos Spaceship. Of course, you can put all the eggs into that on-fleek basket and say that you scale, you know, this Kai'Sa eventually, once you get some items, is going to be tearing down those frontliners, the Renekton, and especially this lethality Jarvan have to play very careful because this Kai'Sa can put out a lot of damage, but right now she's not at that 3-item mark, she's not hitting those evolves onto her abilities, so she's quite weak in this game state. So yeah, they got to continue to play around their CC, trying to find picks here, but right now job seekers are starting to group up and it's a lot harder to find those picks.
It's really tricky, like, where do you even engage? The only people that are stepping up is Shortmaster and Noobliss, and if you jump on Shortmaster, you're gonna cop his full combo, probably an ultimate too. They've just dropped Shelly, this tower's gonna go down. They might even be able to push for a second here. Looks like he is just gonna die to the Malzahar. And she's gonna trade a tower in bot lane. Nice job on Fleek getting the good trade, but she's gotta be careful of Chris Strider coming up here. I'm not too sure she escapes him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the Jarvan aims to cut her off, so OnFleek is going to make it out of that situation, but still, they're losing the mid tower. They trade on the bot side, but eventually there's not going to be too many outers left to take, and you're going to have to commit much harder onto those inner towers here, and having your Kai'Sa split push is very difficult. She can't really just 1v1 anyone. She's very easy to catch out, so yeah, they don't really have much split push threat anymore now that that out is gone here. Maybe rotate her into the top side and look to take that outer, but yeah, there's no real split push threat, and these dragons are stacking up here. About to see another one spawn in, which they are not going to contest, so that means in another 5 minutes we're going to see that dragon soul spawn, and I don't know if they can bring it back by then. 25 minutes is not long enough for this Kai'Sa to scale.
It's so tricky. Even then, you have to assume everyone's on the bot lane. You have to try and get something on the other side of the map if you're going to forfeit the Drake. And I think Chronos Spaceship are probably feeling a little overwhelmed at the moment. I think they're just going to try and group and see if they can get the team fight and, you know, use their big divey pick champs.
Oh, OnFleek gets caught out by that knock-up.
On Fleek.
And he has to be careful. Yeah, he has the ultimate available. He tries to ult away, but here it comes, and he gets dropped so easily. We see that Tompkins Q just chunking out the AD carry of Chronos Spaceship, and Chris Strider is going to make another play onto Celestial here. No spell shield, no chance, and they're just A-ramming it down mid here, using their gold advantage.
What can you do? Quopro's threatening the slingshot, but even then, you just got a slingshot into your own death, sir. Like, what do you do? The ulti coming in from Zonox. Oh, it's just
Oh,
looking
they're
so
landing
good. Pandemonium getting
everything.
knocked out too. I
It,
think that's game. They can just about end here. Pandemonium's still dead for another 30 seconds. They've got a full wave. Nubla still has plenty of health.
they might look to end. I think it's an unnecessary risk, but right now they're so far ahead that is it even that big of a deal. Right now they're going to try look to take the tower, but the minion wave is just not thick enough. They're going to retreat here, but still 9,000 gold lead here. It's hard to see Job Seekers through this one.
Yeah, this is totally in their favor, and man, this is just the best we've seen them all season. I don't know if it's because they've just got, their full team, everyone's playing like their desired roles, and, Chris Strider got his pick. Nubla seems to have some mastery on this, Tom Kench, where she's just played impeccably at this point. Maybe seen one Abyssal dive miss an early game. After that, he's just been steamrolling. Short Master going nuts on this brand as well. It's just been an absolutely clinic for job seekers this game.
Yeah, and it's just where have they done wrong right now? Nublis honestly has proved himself to be one of the best top laners in the competition. There's not many top laners that he goes against. He's scoring so many solo kills. Actually, if I was willing to put money down in the top lane, I'd say Nublis has the most solo kills in this tournament by far. Every time I'm watching him play out his games, he's picking up so many solo kills on just an array of different champions here. And yeah, he's just showing Pandemonium that you have to fear this Tahm Kench pick. And Zonox coming in with the Jarvan.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you were tuning in to the little captain's discussion we had the other week while we had a break in between the stream, but I actually did ask Chris Strider about Nublis, and he said he was actually quite the 50-50 laner. Sometimes he loses like some obvious counter matchups, and other times he just has games like this, and I don't know what's changed today, but he's definitely having one of those games where he's absolutely dominating.
Yeah, I've seen 50-50 laners, but this entire season, I don't know if he's just landing on heads every time, but he's made had so many good laning phases throughout the season, and just some straight up carry performances that we've never seen out of the man, so I gotta give him credit. But right now, you gotta give credit over to the entire JSA roster. You give Chris Strider his Renekton, you give him a decent matchup into this mid lane, and he's gonna make you pay here. Obviously, doing such a good job in that laning phase. Zonox here having monster ganks coming in with this Jarvan, catching them off by surprise. And obviously this bot lane of job seekers, they're always so pivotal, but right now they're into Corona Spaceship bot lane, one of the best bot lanes in the tournament for sure. OnFleek has shown himself to be a monster AD carry player, and they're just taking care of business so easily. They had a couple slip-ups, but right now they are indeed the better bot lane, just smashing the Corona Spaceship's bot lane here, and yeah, they're just winning across the board, which has just made it so hard for Corona Spaceship to find anything here. We see Stairboy just eating towards the Urgot like it's nobody's business, and yeah, what can they do?
They've just got the splits going here. I think we should see job seekers try and pressure this Baron a little bit more. Corona Spaceship have done a good job of clearing out the super minions coming into the mid lane and allowed themselves a bit of time to, apply some pressure on the side lanes that are currently being pushed in. I might hold them in here for another minute or two, but it's only going to take one good engage, or one bad engage from them for this game to be over.
Yeah, right now it looks like they're just resetting. You can see the dragon is on its way to spawning here, and if they pick this one up, I think it is easy curtains for the side of job seekers. They can probably just use Dragon Soul to run over and take that Baron like it's nobody's business here. And yeah, right now look at their item spikes. Job seekers are so strong, so many of them sitting on 2.5 items, and I'd say the only powerful member is that Malzahar sitting on his 2-item spike, but everyone else is searching for their second item here outside of Corona Spaceship. The gold is not there, and right now they're nowhere near the dragon. They're just forfeiting the soul of all things, and
you might as well just forfeit the game at that point too, right? You do not want to put this Mountain Soul onto the Renekton, onto the Tahm Kench, even onto Zonox at this point. Just that even little bit of health that's going to keep him alive longer. Same for Short Master. Yeah, it's really catastrophic for Corona Spaceship here.
And and they might find some picks here. Quopro again caught out at his Gromp in such a bad spot, and Celestial now getting spotted out by that Ezreal ult, and we see Zonox dropping the ultimate for half his health, but they're trading back on the top side. This Tahm Kench is in the middle of 3 champions. They're going all in to try and take down this Catfish. Can they bench the Kench? They try, and they do. They cancel the Battle Voyage. They pick up Nubis in the top lane, but at what cost?
What cost? What did it cost? A whole nother inhib. You know, still potentially the game. They've still got 4 super strong members alive. Celestial's dead. There's still a lot of potential to end the game here. I doubt anyone's going to go for the engage, but 2 inhibs picked up for our 1-for-1 is pretty good.
Pretty good indeed. They're taking down 2 inhibitors, and they're going to use that pressure to pivot over to that Baron and look to close this game out. Nubis has the teleport, no problem for him to come over and help his team. And yeah, we'll see whether Corona Spaceship can put up one last fight, but I don't even think they should be looking for the fight. Maybe just pray for the steal from Quopro. Just stall out if you can, if anything. Just, I don't know what else you can be, what other copium you have left as Corona Spaceship here. Just,
yeah, the Baron has been threatened here. Everyone's kind of moving in on it. There's twice as many, you know, super minions to try and keep a hold of now. If there was ever a time for them to seize this Baron and try and end the game, it's gonna be, you know, the next 2 or 3 minutes while these inhibs down.
now, there are some picks like the Renekton and the Tahm Kench that obviously aren't as effective as the game goes on. Eventually that Tahm Kench turns into a bullet sponge for that Kai'Sa, basically the same for that Renekton. He turns into a stun bot. So if they are able to steal this Baron out and they have their inhibs down and they're just able to farm those super minions with champions like Kai'Sa that are good at taking them down, we could see an avenue for them to come back, but it's looking pretty difficult, and it has to happen at that Baron. There has to be a steal. If Jobseekers gets this, it's curtains for the Corona Spaceship.
Yeah, all the teleports are up. Look, they're really trying to start it. They're a bit unsure. They can see these guys coming in now. Alright, and they've committed. They're going to start the Baron. We'll see how this one plays out. The pink ward being dropped, not going to last too long.
Yeah, we'll
Quopro can do the big slingshot over the Dragon Pit and see if we can get the smite off.
They're not dropping any wards. Rakan has one here, but he's not dropping it. He needs to get vision. It's just gone at this point. What are they waiting for? Quopro's sitting in that bush till the Baron goes down there. They just miscalculated that. Obviously, that's in Fog of War, but Rakan still has that ward available, but he doesn't opt to drop it here, and there's just no steal, and I'm going to stand by my word.
Fevin's dropping the ult, Shortmaster dropping the flash. Even the damage being done to the Baron, I feel like it's kind of predictable from that sort of team too. Like, you should be able to predict that much faster. I just think they didn't want to bar a bit. They were going to see if someone was going to overextend and have Quopro collapse on top. Even then, I don't think you win that. You can see them getting poked out by Shortmaster now. The bot lane's getting burnt up.
I think at that point it's pretty obvious. I think that's just tilt there. You're not committing to any plays. There's basically no hope left. There was zero spirit put into that steal there. It's almost like he walked over to the Baron like it was a chore, like he had to do it there. There was little to no effort put into that steal there. I don't know what's going through Corona Spaceship's head right now, but I can only imagine it is defeat as these super minions with the Baron buff spiral towards that Nexus. Ezreal knocking on your top turret there, and the inhib soon to follow. The minions are pouring into this base, and there's basically zero hope left for Corona Spaceship.
Yeah, it's the third inhib that's about to go down, just to be sure. Take everything they can. There's not a single objective left on the map for job seekers. And they've got to push into this now. I think that's just going to be it once they have this many minions in the base. Look at those 2 cannons just whacking on the tower.
Stevens finds Shortmaster. They're chunking down Shortmaster. They have Chris Ryder in the front line, but they miss the Fear Beyond Death. And look at the health bars are just getting melted. Too much gold difference. Onfleek makes it into base, but drops to the Ignite. The Ignite even out damaging the Fountain there. And Feven stands as the lone survivor as his team falls. Trish Strider with the triple kill, and that is Jobseekers taking this game over Corona Spaceship. They're fighting for this 4th place spot, and they will not surrender until they get it.
Yeah, absolutely huge game from Job Seekers here. They played out of their minds exactly when it counts. This is exactly what we need to see from these guys. They just played such an immaculate game. The best game we've definitely seen them play all season, and they've definitely played some good games this season. And winning that game against the team that you're competing for fourth place is actually going to be so important. I believe that was Corona Spaceship's last game. They have to play one fill game from Youngbloods, which is still like another 50-50 for Corona Spaceship. And Job Seekers still have a game against for fun and against Youngbloods as well. I think if they could win both of those, they will make it into finals.
It's hard to do all these calculations, of course, with the Purple Cobras dropping out. There's probably some missing wins on the tournament there too. I'm not sure if you've dropped all those in
Yeah,
either.
they've all been updated actually when Purple Cobras, decided to opt out of the tournament. I went through and just gave the wins ahead of time.
So yeah, we will have to see whether they're able to win their final matchup. The one they have left is that. No, I'm looking at the schedule right now. It looks like that was their last match here. Unless I'm just
For
completely
Corona
blind.
Spaceship?
Yeah, Corona Spaceship.
Yeah, so they had a game against Purple Cobras next week, which is obviously going to be a forfeit because Purple Cobras pulled out of the tournament, and they have one game left to play against Youngbloods, which is the makeup game we had. We had some
Of
internet
course,
issues
of
going
course.
around
That's the
town.
one I'm missing. So yeah, if they take the game versus Youngblood's going to put them in a lot better of a position. But right now they're basically sitting on the sidelines. Right, you got to pray and hope that job seekers are going to trip somewhere along the way here as they sprint towards the finish. Obviously, having to take on Youngblood still, job seekers as well. We'll see whether they're able to get any more upsets because I think if job seekers are just able to pull off an upset like that or just continue to succeed versus other teams like For Fun, they're looking to just knock them out of that fourth spot there. But still, who knows? We might even have a tie for that fourth spot, and then we'd have to
That's
play a
what I was
tiebreaker. Yeah.
just about to say, actually. I hate to, talk up the Youngbloods, but it looking at the leaderboard, if they win their game against Corona Spaceship and against Job Seekers Alliance, both teams will actually end up on a fourth place tie. Which I mean, I guess we have to play some tiebreakers before we head into finals, and that's even more exciting. Just as exciting as finals, such huge state games will be huge.
I'm not sure if we've ever had tiebreakers. Maybe one or two in the past
Yeah,
for
I
this
remember
fourth
a
place.
few seasons ago nagging David for some tiebreakers
Yeah.
because I didn't want to. I wanted to be third place instead of fourth place or something. I
Yeah,
don't know,
seeding
something crazy
obviously
like that.
doesn't matter here, but I think you don't care about the seeding. You care about the top four placement here for Corona Spaceship and Job Seekers. Making it into that playoffs is just so important. That's really just going to put you in the money and gives you that opportunity. Like it wipes the slate clean rather, and it gives you a shot at number one again. Even though Jupies may look out of reach, it really just comes down to that playoff. If you're able to prepare for that playoff series, then you're looking to take number one. None of this scoreboard matters at the end of the day if you aren't able to perform in those playoffs. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be such a huge week. We've just got like I think after this week we have 5 games next week because Purple Cobras had 2, so it's just going to be huge. Once we're done with next week, there's going to be some really high stakes stuff happening. I don't know. I'd even like to see them play a best of 3 before they get into finals. So that might even be just as exciting. But
yeah.
we'll have to chat about that.
We'll figure things out as we get closer towards that end date here. But right now we got to figure out who scored the MVP for the side of Job Seekers in this game. And it's a tough one. Like we were talking about, they performed well across the board. Who do you give it to on such a great game from Job Seekers?
I think Job Seekers really roll diff to every position. They won every single lane, and I guess it just comes down to who had the most impact, on the game. And you can't look past Zonox. I know he's only got 2 kills, but 15 assists was huge. He made so many plays around the map. He really helped get Chris Strider ahead earlier on too. But looking at the damage graph, it's the brand damage is just unreal here as well. It's a tough one. I could honestly go for anyone on this team here.
Yeah, I do want to give credit to Shotmaster, obviously dropping so much damage, but it was at a cost. He was the one dropping the most on the side, and that's no fault to him. They were throwing the kitchen sink at him a lot of the time, but yeah, if you really wanted to take that MVP, you got to have that flawless performance, and I think there are some members who basically had it. Zonox, obviously, looking at that early game performance, just set up Chris Strider for success. Obviously, Chris Strider had a lot of the priority, but he wasn't able to convert that into anything until Zonox stepped foot into that lane and just started knocking over Celestial in that mid lane, setting up all the kills for him there. So I think Chris Strider, he did well as well, but I think Zonox a huge reason why he was able to succeed in the mid lane. But
Yeah,
Stairboy,
definitely agree.
Stairboy, I think he played that game pretty well into one of the better bot laners of the tournament too. I could see a case for Stairboy. He put out a decent amount of damage on that Ezreal, as you'd expect from the sort of composition. But yeah, like the bot lane did.
Even
Well,
Noobless too,
yeah,
he just had
it's
like a crazy game top lane. The trades kind of went in Pandemonium's favor a little early, but after six, that he was just holding Pandemonium down. There was nothing he could do. Noobless was just whacking away, gobbling him up, spitting him into tower. It was an absolutely outrageous performance from Noobless as well.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what would set it apart is that there was some hope for the laners respectively, but I don't think there was ever hope in the jungle matchup. Just Zonox had Quopro's number that entire match there, and Celestial had some moments where he was fighting back versus Chris until Zonox came along. The bot lane, they picked up a kill, then Zonox came to the lane and just forced them back. Zonox was picking up the dragons. Zonox was basically doing everything right, and there was really never a moment where I was doubting Zonox versus Crowbro at all. So I think
That's true.
just the domination that Zonox put out onto this Jarvan, I'm willing to give him MVP for this matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I'm agreeing with you there. It was an unreal performance from that one, especially when he opted into the lethality too. He must have been super confident with that pick, and yeah, just played it to perfection. So many perfect ganks in mid lane, so many cleanups in the bot lane. You love to see it.
And yeah, for the start of SVP, I only saw one player really trying. Of course, there was a person accompanying him a lot of the time, but Fevens was finding most of the kills for the side of Cronus Spaceship there, and everyone else had basically lost hope. It looked like Fevens was trying to set up all those plays when there was kills dropping on the top side. He was pushing the pedal to the metal there in the bot lane with this Rakan, trying to catch out Shortmaster, really abuses bot lane. Eventually, it did backfire on him, but you gotta appreciate the effort that he was putting on that Rakan pick, and he was finding some clean engages early on. It's just, as the game started to fall out of their favor, it just became harder and harder, but still, Fevens putting out a pretty good performance on that Rakan there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we're on the same page today. I agree with Fevens as well. Sometimes you just got to risk it for the biscuit. When you're that far behind in lane, you really just have to throw out anything you can and try and get any like semblance of a lead back. He even managed to out damage Quopo in this game, just showing like how much influence that he really got out. I didn't see him do too much damage outside of lane. I have to expect most of that 4K that he's done probably came out within laning phase, maybe a little bit afterwards. It was just super well played by him. I have to respect his ability to keep his cool and just try and force a lead. It didn't work out for him, but it was the right idea.
Yeah, for sure. So we have agreed on that one there, but right now we are going to be heading into our next match soon. Unfortunately, you have to go prepare for your own match later tonight, a big one for you. Maybe we'll just
Yeah,
pick your brain a little. How are you feeling about your matchup later tonight versus Destiny?
Yeah, we had this week in the first split too, where we had to face Destiny and Jupiter's in the same week. So it's a difficult one, and it's honestly a pretty stressful week. Got to make sure all the boys are there. Everyone's actually trying to play the game. It's gonna be super tricky. In regards to the Destiny match, I don't know. We're pretty lucky to get to see them play their little warm up match they'll play against for fun next, where I expect them to win. And maybe if we can find some exploits, we might be able to pull an advantage there. But it can really go either way. These guys can be such a hit and miss team. Sometimes they're just on and they steamroll. Sometimes they'll just int into you and still win. I don't know. I think we're the better team, and I'm praying we get the win tonight.
Alright, you fell to them once before, but of course Destiny have fallen to for fun before. This team, like you said, is not consistent this season. And yeah, we don't know what to expect until we hit the rift between those two teams. But this is your final matchup for the tonight. Of course, next matchup will be For Fun versus Destiny. We'll see if Destiny are able to get their revenge, or will For Fun continue to stamp down on them. Basically, they're playing Gatekeeper at this point. For Fun basically have no shot at the top 4, but they have a shot at glory here. If they take down Destiny again, they can at least say they're undefeated. Who knows? Maybe you can make a ruling that if you never lost to Destiny, then maybe you should take their spot in playoffs. Who knows?
I like that ruling. That's an epic ruling.
So yeah, we'll see whether For Fun can make the repeat upset happen, whether they are Destiny's kryptonite, or whether they fall down right at the finish here and Destiny can find their footing. But that is coming up soon, guys. We're going to go to a quick music break and we'll be right back. So, without further ado, that'll be Django signing off. We'll be back very shortly.
Cheers.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. Bladexay returning to the mic, joined here by the victorious Chris Strider. How you feeling?
Pretty good. We executed our game plan really well. We knew that J4 was pretty much the number one jungler at the moment in the patch, and he's very easy to execute. So Zonix hasn't been playing for a couple of weeks, so we got him on a pick that was really good, and we executed well. All lanes won. I'm pretty happy about that match overall.
Yeah, it was a super clean performance across the board there. Like, me and Billy were struggling to give the MVP out. I'm sure you guys probably listened in a bit, but yeah, eventually did give it over to that Zonox. There, playing to the meta, Jarvan rising up, as you said, and yeah, Zonox not showing up as much. I don't think Kronos Spaceship were expecting it at all. So yeah, very well played from Job Seekers there. And yeah, how you feeling about your chances at fourth now that you took down one of the contenders for that top 4 spot?
It really depends. Like right now, Corona Spaceship look a bit iffy at the moment in terms of seeing how they go against Youngbloods. If they lose against Youngbloods and we win the rest of our games, I reckon we can snatch it. But we'll just have to see how we go because we got to win the rest of our games. So we still got a bit of work left. But I reckon we got a 50-50 chance of taking 4th place. That's what it's looking like at the moment.
50-50. I think you'll take those odds after finding yourself a bit lower on the leaderboard. You've done pretty well into the second half, and yeah, it's really just all left up to the cards now. See whether they'll turn up spades here. With Corona Spaceship, like we were discussing it, me and Bill, I believe they have one more matchup left, and that's versus Youngblood, so they got to make that upset happen. I believe they want to secure it, but you guys also have a bit of control over your own fate with your remaining matches versus For Fun and Youngbloods there. So, still,
Yeah.
I haven't done the calculations just yet, but it's looking pretty good for Job Seekers, and yeah, I'm hoping that we might even get to a tiebreaker. More matches for us, and yeah, I don't think we haven't had many tiebreakers, so it's probably a lot more stressful for you guys. But yeah, just seeing the all or nothing fights like that, I'd love to see it. But we'll see whether it gets to that point.
So yeah, Youngblood's pretty much playing gatekeepers, I think, between us and Corona Spaceship.
Yeah.
So we got to pull out all the stops. I think we had a pretty close game last time against Youngbloods when they whipped out that Yasuo and pulled it out in the end, if I recall, with the Ziggs as well. But both of those champions have slightly fallen out of meta, so I'm going to see what else they have. But looks like we're about ready to kick off this game, Blade Exer.
Yeah, Destiny a little bit late, but so is For Fun, I believe. So we're not going to be taking away any bans from the teams just yet. So yeah, we're just going to have a little bit of a late start. Hopefully the captains will kick us off soon. Yeah, but yeah, this is also quite the exciting matchup as, For Fun are the Destiny Slayers, and we'll see whether they can repeat what happened last time. Did you happen to watch that matchup between For Fun and Destiny?
I did. So in short, I believe Destiny were missing 2 key players, and they had a average draft at best. They had comfort picks, and they also had some meta picks, but they couldn't quite gel. And I didn't think they respect their jungler, and For Fun's jungler just snowballed the hell out of that game.
Yeah, I think lack of respect came down to what was happening, and yeah, they didn't respect Kazri and Gentleman either. They fell down to that team, but really just the lack of respect at the level 1 in that game really just put them in the losing seat straight away. They invaded and they gave a triple kill over to the side of For Fun. So I think that matchup was just a bit skewed by just the poor early game play. But right now we're probably going to see a lot more respect come out, a lot more on the line now for Destiny. So we'll see how these two teams actually stack up here. I believe this is Houdini in jungle. I'm not sure, he's on a different account every time. It's pretty annoying, but
yeah, it is.
For Fun's new jungler here is definitely looking like a tough act to follow here for Asuko. Of course, Asuko has had some pop-off performances of his own, but yeah, Houdini has done really well in all of his matches here. Right now he's on an account called Blaziken Pass, so I have to start whipping out my Pokemon knowledge or something here, so we'll see. Okay, Houdini's able to play, so they found a last-minute sub. Okay, Blaziken isn't Houdini, but I'm sure he's a good player in his own right. That just sucks because we have 0 knowledge going into it. So hopefully we don't do him any wrong here.
Oh, judging by his name, it looks like he might pick Lee Sin, but we'll just see how it goes. So.
Yeah, who knows? He's got Blaze in his name. He might pick out the the Nasus, the 420, I don't know,
Well,
freaking.
that's a bit of a stretch, but yeah.
But Nasus jungle, the 420 Darian memes back in season 2, back when Gambit was a team. But yeah, right now we're hopping into the champs like finally enough stalling from us. Finally into the matchup, and we'll see what Destiny are gonna do versus For Fun here. First ban, they're thinking about it, but they end up taking away the Camille. Now, Kelthalis is traditionally their main tank player, but I do believe he has some other picks in his pocket, so it doesn't surprise me to take away some of those other picks and just guarantee that he's probably going to go onto one of those tanks, and that really narrows down the champion pool that Jimbo has to tackle here, and he's able to pick something to maybe counter those tanks. And the Blitzcrank getting taken away, I believe Drunken Monk favors the Thresh more than anything, but yeah, definitely Blitzcrank is a lot scarier, in my opinion, when he hits that hook. Obviously, Thresh has a lot more tools, but there's nothing scarier than that Blitzcrank running at you and you're out of position. It's just like an all or nothing, you can dodge that hook or die. So yeah, they're taking that one away. Probably For Fun's bot lane is more prepared for the Thresh, so we'll see what's going to happen there. Taking away the Nocturne from the side of For Fun. I'm not sure if Blaziken plays it, but I don't believe anyone else does, so some target bans already coming out onto Blaziken, the substitute jungler. So welcome to NTEL Esports, buddy. This is what happens. you get targeted, and yeah, people check your champion pools a lot in this competition, and that's exactly what's happened to Jimbo Baggins as his favorite pick. Yorick gets taken off the board there. So we'll see whether Jimbo has any other counters towards Kelthalis, because Kelthalis has been just a steady cornerstone for the side of For Fun. He's never really the pop-off player, but he's always doing well on those tanks. Yeah. And yeah, just having that solid tank player on your team just makes draft a lot easier for those carries. Always gives you that front liner to play behind here. And Greedo now getting tested, is Tristana's getting taken away, and that's been his favorite pick. So we'll see what else is left for the side or For Fun, because a lot of comfort already taken away.
Yeah, I understand maybe the Nocturne ban is a slight flex pick into the top, but he has fallen out of that position. I've seen TSM try to play it, and then they failed, unfortunately. But yeah, pretty sure the other bans are pretty standard, but that Kane ban kind of interests me. I'm pretty sure that's a targeted ban.
Yeah, must have seen Asuko's match history, but it's interesting because Kane recently copped a pretty significant nerf this patch.
Very big nerf, yeah.
Yeah, the blue form was massively nerfed in terms of damage. I think if you're going the lethality build, it doesn't hurt anywhere near as much, but going that Gore Drinker build, you lose a lot of that amp magic damage, because it actually lasted quite a while. Even though he's an assassin, it lasted for like 4 or 5 seconds. So the initial exchanges you had as that blue Kane was amped up a lot. But that just helped the Bruiser Kane as he stayed in the fights for like 4 or 5 seconds until his abilities came off cooldown and he ducks through a wall again or something. Very slippery champion, but they've nerfed him significantly there. But he's taken off the board here, and looks like the aggressive support's getting locked away straight away for both teams. Leona taken for Drunken Monk. They want to be playing aggressive towards that bot lane, and immediately countered by that Alistar, of course. So hard for that Leona to get on top of because of that ultimate, but also so good at peeling the AD carry that gets caught out by that Leona. And yeah, that is a great pick to take away from Asuko. He's shown his prowess on Diana, and of course Corruption's shown that he can flex it mid lane too, so that could be a mid lane Diana, or it could just be a Diana jungle. There's lots of flexibility going into that pick, so I like For Fun's draft a lot so far.
Yeah, definitely a lot of flexibility. Always seems to be a staple when the supports get picked in the first part of draft here in the next tier scene. But nah, Varus and Orianna being locked in. This looks very similar to the draft that we versed a few weeks back when we were versing Destiny.
Yeah, I hope I didn't bump up Ardmona's ego too much when I complimented his Varus, because now he is just like perma-picking this thing, and teams haven't caught on, and they're suffering for it. His performances on the Varus has looked spectacular, and I can only imagine with a Leona Varus bot lane that, yeah, it's really going to be difficult for Fun in this bot lane right now. They're going to be playing pretty well, especially with a weak early game champion like Kai'Sa into this matchup. This Varus can really punish you, so we'll see whether Ardmona and Drunken Monk are able to have that sort of performance here. Because, yeah, Ardmona hasn't really had these pop-off performances like he used to have this season, but ever since his Varus has been coming out, he's shown signs that he is still a dominant AD carry, and he can still carry this team, Destiny. And yeah, just you do not need more carry threats on Destiny, I can tell you that much, with the way DSD Guard and ACST usually play. Definitely a strong team, and yeah, they're already showing more respect over the Asuko, taking away that Lee Sin, taking away that jungle pool, but Asuko's got pretty deep pockets, so I doubt he's too
He
concerned.
does. Echo got a big buff, so I wonder if he's going to pull it out this game, but we'll just see how that goes. Also, I think they just reverted Diana's passive wave damage to minion by 50%, and they gave the 50% to Echo, so Echo is looking a bit better in the jungle. I wouldn't say he's quite top tier, but he definitely clears a bit faster than Diana now, which is good to see.
Yeah, I think that is just like a perfect time for ACST to have this Echo come back into meta. We favoured it a lot last season, and yeah, coming into these matchups where, you know, everything's on the line, I think Destiny aren't sitting in the worst position, but yeah, definitely they can still slip out here, so they got to secure the wins, and having your champions buffed like that, definitely going to help out. Now, that was a pick that Kel'Thuz's busted out last time he played versus us, actually, the Skarner top lane, and I don't disagree with Benny at the unconventional top laners. If you have no experience with that, I've seen some Skarners personally in high elo, so I wouldn't even call it high elo, just like low diamond, but the people that put time in onto this champion can actually be scary on their off rolls. You're not used to being perma-stunned by that Skarner top lane when he builds enough ability haste, and yeah, he can really catch you out. So, not doubting that ban at all, and now the Ornn is locked in for Kel'Thuz. He is going to be going onto that tank, so we're going to see what Jimbo has in store to counter this tank, because they had to have seen this coming.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Malphite here, actually, but I'm sure he's going to pick something with a bit more impact, like Nah, yeah. Really does shave down Ornn quite effectively in lane. I'd say Nah's one of the more meta tops in the current scene at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Has that pretty free lane into the Ornn there. Definitely has some pressure. Ornn kind of has to be on the back foot, give up a lot of priority. And like we were talking about, I wonder how much practice he's got in on this patch, or is he just going to just be rocking it? And he actually switches over to the Trundle. And yeah,
that's even more scary.
Yeah, Trundle has picked up a lot of popularity. This late into the season, he seems to have taken off, as well as in professional play. He's been picked up quite a decent amount, and of course, picking Trundle into a character like Ornn.
He needs to relax here with the Kassadin pick. Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and they're gonna actually lock it away, but there is one weakness I see onto the side of what's their team? For Fun have actually
AP damage.
Yeah, they've actually drafted basically a full AP composition. Kai'Sa has a mixed spread there that's going to complement you a little bit, but that's just still at least 80-90% of your damage being AP here, and with tanky champions like Leona, Trundle, and Nah just all going to be itemizing that Spirit Visage, those Merc Treads, just Wits Ends probably coming out here. Their work's cut out for them. This Kassadin, even if he scales up, isn't going to be as scary if you're rocking 200 magic resist. So hopefully For Fun know what they're doing here with this draft, because yeah, if they're not able to get a snowball going early, then the magic resist is definitely going to bite them.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I can see Varus getting Edge of Night and Orianna getting Banshees and just Trundle being Trundle, buying whatever. I'd say that Kassadin pick is questionable, but I understand why he picked it. Fleet Footwork got a nice buff early on, so he can transition a little easier into the later parts of lane phase, but he will have less healing from Fleet Footwork if he decides to run it. But I think this game's going to come down to the junglers, essentially, if they're able to enable their teams to get to the later parts of the game. But I think Destiny slightly won out this draft.
Yeah, I'd say like the scaling, you just look at the side of For Fun and you just see massive scaling champions, but just the one problem is they're all scaling into the same damage type there. They're all magic damage. So even if you have a hyper scaling composition like that, if they only have to itemize magic resist, then it's going to be a lot less effective than your usual scaling comp is, because they'll just have 2 items that completely just nullify your pen boots. Your void staff's not going to be hitting quite as hard.
Yep.
It's going to be a lot less effective having that late game payout. But still, Cassidy will do Cassidy things. Kaisa, if she gets that lead there, is definitely going to be jumping around with all the CC that her team is providing here. So they've got quite this stable composition. Lots of engage, lots of playmaking potential, lots of front to back possibilities, and yeah, split pushing with the Cassidy. They've got quite a flexible composition here, and so does Destiny though. But I'd say the one weakness of Destiny is that they don't really have a great ball target for that Orianna. It's going to be very hard for her to find those massive shockwaves, but thankfully for her, there are a lot of champions that are probably going to be diving into her. So she's probably going to be playing that peel game, but I'm wondering if Orianna is able to even output the damage that team's going to need here, because there's a lot of like bruiserish and just straight up super tanky champions on the other side, and Orianna is not known for her damage this season. So we'll see if DSD Guard can provide the damage that this team needs. But we're getting close to the game here. We're going to go over to our sponsors and give them a shout out. Our major sponsors of the season: Paul's Ice Coffee, Northern Territory Government, and McDonald's Darwin. I've currently just downed Paul's Ice Coffee before this. I needed to do this so much earlier. I was talking how it gets me through the mornings, but I was just a bit worried that I'd stay up too late. But you need the energy. You need to bring the energy when it comes to these games here, because right now this is just getting towards the end of the season. These matches matter, and yeah, if you're not matching the energy that they're bringing to the games, then I don't know what you're gonna do. And of course, Paul's Ice Coffee is able to bring you that energy, guys. So big shout out to them. And of course, I'd just drink it if it just tasted good anyway, which it sure as hell does. So other than that, Northern Territory Government and McDonald's Darwin also sponsoring us, helping us out so much. And yeah, big things coming from the future because of them. The studio in the works, more to come on that, but can't say too much right now. But I can tell you about our minor sponsors: Next Day Entertainment, Serotonic Beauty, VR Gamers, Gammon Creations, Tracy Village Social and Sports Club, Hot Springs Tavern, The Rabbit Hole, Palace of India, Fresh Point Cafe, John John's, Diamond Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting. All our minor sponsors of the tournament, and all local businesses which you guys should be supporting, even if you're not in the NT. Try and show your love to some of these places, because yeah, they're doing wonders for us. But right now we are heading into the game here, and I'm looking forward to see what is going to happen. And just to touch on an earlier subject that you were going on about, the fleet footwork on Caston. You said it was a buff, but it's actually quite interesting changes. It used to give 100% healing to melees, no matter what, but right now I believe they changed it to give 30% healing. So I think it's actually a little bit of a nerf into these melee champions, because it's still going to heal you a crap ton more if you auto a champion for sure, but there's not going to be many opportunities where you're going to be autoing that Orianna early game. So I think just in this laning phase, possibly out of laning phase, is going to be a lot better for him, but just the isolated laning phase for that keystone is actually probably going to be worse. But
in the long run, yeah.
We'll see whether that actually comes back to bite him here. We haven't experimented at all with these fleet footwork changes. I'm wondering whether AD carries like Jen are going to start taking that again, or even Caitlyn, these traditional fleet footwork users, because yeah, I haven't been able to gauge the power of that change at all. But I do know that was a very interesting change onto melees that take this keystone. It's actually going to be a decent amount worse in the laning phase, but I have no maths to support that, so you're just going to have to take my word. You're going to have to take my word for it.
So what I find very interesting is Corruption is quite confident in his first item. We're going to see how it actually plays out for him. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite him, but I understand why he buys it, but maybe he should have bought Refillable a little earlier. But if DSD Guard plays this lane very well, he can pretty much zone off Corruption from XP and minions in general, but I'm guessing he's allowing him to be in XP range.
Yeah, even the Doran's Shield, just with the trade pattern of the Orianna, she like pokes you down slowly but surely, and having a Doran's Shield proc off every time she pokes you is going to pay off dividends there. But yeah, for sure, just being able to match a Corrupting Potion versus your opponent there is going to allow you to be so much more durable in lane. But we're seeing an early game action into the bot side jungle for fun here. The camera's not interested apparently, so I think Yeah, if we look at the CS score, Asuko just comes in, smites away the Gromp, and says adieu. He leaves with the Gromp in tow there. And pretty nice little play coming out of Asuko already. Definitely not expected by Blaziken at all.
Oh.
They're making a play bot lane, but...
Oh wow, this could be first blood. Yeah,
this Alistar is by no means tanky early on. Here comes the piercing arrow, and they're going to flash stun here. The Drunken Monk is trying to find the play with the Ignite, but Ardmona has nothing to follow him up with. He maybe flashes for that kill, but doesn't quite find it. But I think that's a huge misplay there. Instead of turning around and finishing off the minions, For Fun actually ran, and there was a minion 1 auto from death, so they maybe could have matched the level 2 play there. So, bit of a misplay, but they end up getting out of that without too much punishment. Alistair's already healing up a ton, as you can see. And yeah, oh, never mind, they're going back in on this Alistar with no summoners. He is surely going to go down here. Ardmona is holding onto his flash again, maybe. Could have flashed again for that, but yeah, they're poking down this Varus so well here, and yeah, Ardmona is going to trade with you all day. More action in the jungle of the side For Fun, and of course, playing into that Caston. Oh, never mind. More action on the ball, and a piercing arrow goes through 2. And finally, Ardmona drops the flash for a double kill. 2v2 in the ball lane, and do not look at the top side because DSC are running it across the board here. And yeah, they're really playing to their strengths as Caston is not level 6 yet. He's not going to bring much to this skirmish. And of course, Orianna finding that priority there, punishing this early game Diana so hard with this Trundle here. It's a beautiful play from Destiny so far.
Yeah, it's to underestimate Trundle's PTA damage early with Pillar. You realize you have to blow your flash. Very well-respected play coming out of Asuko, taking the Gromp and then invading with Red, just knowing that Blaziken was still level 2, and you can't do much as level 2 with Diana. You need level 3, so very big plays coming out of Destiny.
Yeah, and the bot lane especially, they're just finding that 2v2 dive already so early on into the game. Just successful trades over and over leading towards that tower dive there. And yeah, there's not enough respect being shown from the Alistar. If you're that low, you can't be walking up to this Leona. Even if you are this tanky cow, you're not very tanky until you hit that level 6 spike, especially if you're locked up, not able to find the aftershock. Yeah, it gets taken down really quick, and we can see the damage that Varus is able to output there with that piercing arrow. Had the W active, absolutely nuked through them. But yeah, this mid lane is the only lane not too affected. The jungle right now is behind so much because of the CS gap, because of those jungle camps stolen. But if there is any hope, it's the mid lane right now. Caston is not too far behind this Orianna and heading towards that level 6.
Yes, and it's kind of crazy that it's just the jungle gap right now. Just Asuko up basically a level and a half, and he's up basically 15 CS, which is astronomical by jungle standards. Yeah, Blaziken on this Diana is definitely going to be halted for quite some time. Maybe that's a blessing in disguise, just allows them to make not so many risky plays, but we'll just see how Asuko goes with this PTA Trundle and just constantly invading the Diana, but we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, we've seen Asuko have pop-off performances before. He's playing so aggro into this matchup. He knows his limits, and he's absolutely punishing For Fun so far, having a beautiful performance. And of course, his team playing well around him as well. But yeah, I think the stars of the show are really this bot lane right now. This Varus getting such a lead is just such a hard thing for the bot lane to deal with. This Kai's is going to have to be playing dodgeball, but instead of the ball, you got very fast and painful arrows flying towards you here, and it's only going to get worse as he itemizes that lethality. But look at this Caston. You got to respect the Caston damage here. Chunking out DSD guard.
Oh, got a ultimate under the tower there, but just playing it safe. Make sure not to give Caston any chances, I suppose.
Yeah, Caston, though, does have to be careful of the Trundle and the Leona hovering around his lane. Of course, if he doesn't have the backup, this Caston is pretty strong. He's not able to 1v3 by any means, though. So, DC having control of the map right now is going to stop this Caston snowball a lot, just being able to rotate that jungler and that support around this mid lane. And yeah, there's not too much happening elsewhere for the side of For Fun. They're just going to have to try and scale up with this Kai'Sa and see whether they're able to make it through this early game laning phase. But just look at the damage the Varus is bringing here. Absolutely bullying out this Kai'Sa.
Yeah, it sucks when you have one long sword and you got to compete with Ardmona with so many other items.
Yeah.
But Yeah, definitely look very rough, and Asiko going to make it even rougher by the looks of it.
Yeah, he's coming down to this bot lane. They're
Oh,
looking
that's
for
a
a
nice.
play, but there's a nice knock-up from Vyacinth here, but looks like they're turning it around. But the minion wave's not to the tower, so they can't find the dive there. Isuko is smartly not committing to that. But yeah, looks like we're having a bit of action into the top lane here, but this Diana is not level 6. There's not too much to be afraid of, but if this Call of the Forge God finds its mark, it might be. But nice play from Jimbo Baggins, knocks them both away here. Corruption going for the play in the middle lane, but he flashes out of range of that Void Pulse there. Cassidon E goes wide, and he's able to keep his life there, but look how close both mid laners are to dying. This is such a scary position to be. You want to get the wave in a good position, but you also don't want to die to the enemy jungler as Asuko's coming towards mid lane here. He has the flash available, so he might be able to make a play on Corruption. And that's all he needs, just flash ult, takes him down.
He really wanted to get that lane in, but he gets punished for it. Corruption could have probably predicted DST Guard's flash and probably looked for a trade kill because they just need anything right now. But nah, very heads-up play from Asuko and Trundle.
Yeah, DSC Guard has just TP'd back to the lane, so he's full health here. Diana's not going to be able to do too much, and now that Trundle has information on the Diana, look at him already, moving into the jungle, getting the priority,
that's right.
taking the camps. It's looking so hard for this Diana. Excuse that as my cat lies on my keyboard and presses the escape key. But yeah, right now Destiny just running all the plays in this early game, just taking all the initiative, looking so strong. The spot lane's stabilized a little bit. Ardmona's not going too out of control, but yeah, just having that serrated Dirk right now, I think he's going to be hitting a lot harder. And as he gets towards that level 9 Varus, his arrows are going to be tremendous. Ooh. Looking for plays in the top lane. Jimbo's Gnar too, and looks like they're trying to make a play, but they've not quite able to find it. Greedo flashes out, but the ignite is there. Drunken Monk gets out before the turret shot hits, but here comes Blaziken. Ardmona flashing on the tower again. He does get out.
Gonna live.
But Diana is off on the wings. She has the flash. Is she going to commit it here? Yes, she is, and finds Ardmona. Gets the shutdown. That is gravely needed for the side of For Fun to trade something back finally. And he is going to pick up Ardmona for a decent little shutdown, but it's not enough to get them back into this game. They got to keep making plays like that to get back in.
Yeah, so with that shutdown, I'm pretty sure Blaziken on Diana has finally caught up to Asiko. I would say even Asiko's still a bit further ahead based off how he's been performing, but they can take all they can get essentially. And TST Guard doing pretty well against his Cassidon, as he should, but I would like to see a bit more of a CS discrepancy, but nah, Destiny definitely running away with this game.
Yeah, and we already see DC Guard with that null magic mantle in his inventory. He's probably going to build that towards that Merc Treads there, and then probably into even more ML later in that Banshees. He's already realized the name of the game, and just going to help him so much get through this laning phase, be able to itemize magic resist and not feel bad about it at all, because you're negating so much damage onto the side of the enemy team. And yeah, oh my god, just avert our eyes from that, but
they saw that too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just styling on him a bit, but looks like they're dropping. Yeah, there's a play happening. The Diana has ultimate available. He is going to drop it onto Asuko, but they still have Shockwave. It goes there, lands on 2, but Corruption still has ult. He's got a flash and ult in, finishing off Asuko, picking off that shutdown, but still, they got the tower plate, so it's not even the worst play possible. Ardmona almost finds the piercing arrow, but guesses wrong onto the Duke there. And yeah, Greedo keeps his life, but they're going to lose a lot of CS off that play. But still, they did trade something back in the mid lane there. But it's an even play at best, I think. They pick up the shutdown, but still the gold plate's going onto 2. Just Corruption having to back now. Isn't able to find much more.
Yeah, they're just taking plates away from For Fun and just running away with it. Right now, this Varus has pretty much got double worth of the gold of Greedo. But nah, nice little trade there coming out. The tower looks like 1 out in that exchange.
Yeah, Kelthar has actually W'd using the unstoppable of the W to avoid the Gnar ult there. I'm not sure if he predicted that, but he's a god if he did, because yeah, he was just looking to use the ult for a cheeky little trade, but yeah, it's just completely negated by a normal ability. So he'll take that trade any day of the week. But yeah, Corruption still is a chance of hope. I think he's gone and made a huge error buying Sork shoes here though into this game. But even though DSC Guard also went Sork shoes himself, he's not actually opting for that. He wants to be dealing more damage into this comp. And looks like they're making this play. Diana has no ultimate though. I think it's a little bit too early.
Oh,
of course,
miscombo.
yeah, not a good combo coming out of the Alistar there. He's going to drop the ball on that one. But yeah, For Fun are in a bad position. The Ornn is finally TPing in. He has ultimate available. But right now, this Asiko's just left to die by his team. Jimbo Baggins also in a bad spot, but he doesn't get caught by the Forge God. He ends up making it out of that, and there's no shockwave available. The Varus is finally coming around. He has the Chains of Corruption. They're going to be looking to pick up this kill. Beautiful combo there, but he's going to go down for that play. Another big knock-up, brother, from Keldars. But look at the damage Ardmoon is bringing out. He's dropping so many arrows. A beautiful combo, but the damage isn't there. All three almost died to that combo between Diana and Corruption, but the damage isn't there again. It's too early in the game for these champions to start nuking through, but at least they're not able to pick up the dragon. But still, more money into the pockets of Destiny is a very bad thing to toss over. And we saw that fight look so bad for Destiny until Ardmona showed up, and he is just piercing through the entire team of For Fun there, landing so many Qs that just did tremendous amounts of damage. Already having that lethality item there, the Duskblade completed. Absolutely nuking through everyone onto the side of For Fun. Almost no armor being completed, just some now being itemized onto the outside and the top laner.
So, unfortunately, Blade Corruption decided to finish his Sork shoes first, and that might have come back to bite him. If he actually had the flat AP of his mythic item, he probably would have cleaned up that fight a lot better, but hopefully he looks back on that and realize his mistake in getting Sork shoes this early in the game.
Oh, big flash, pole play coming out of Alistar, the shockwave trying to disengage, but here come the rest of For Fun. They're turning it around so well. This Asuko cannot be ignored here. He has the Divine Sundra. He's dealing damage at the PTA, and look at the rest of the team. You're not dealing any damage with this full magic composition. They haven't even itemized much magic resist yet, but it's just not enough damage coming out of For Fun. The plays look good, but the damage isn't there.
Just imagine once they actually itemize magic resist, it's going to look even rougher.
Yeah, it's like, normally you see the tanks with the wet noodles, but I think everyone on the side of the For Fun is going to have a wet noodle. Once the magic resist comes out here, it's going to be pretty pitiful. I told you guys they had to pick up a lead in the early game if they wanted much of a shot, but right now they're 7,000 gold down, and there's no magic resist built yet. I think that's just pure disrespectful of the side of Destiny. They're just optimizing for that damage. They don't care. They're just, and it's working out for them. They're punishing. You saw the damage that Trundle was dealing. PTA Divine Sundra absolutely turning that fight on its head if you ignore this champion in the early game. And yeah, champions like this Catherine need time to scale. This Kai'Sa isn't hit her mythic yet. She's not dealing any damage. And right now, if you're continuing to make plays like this, it's just going to spell doom for the side of For Fun. And yeah, it already feels like it's a bit doomed right now. 2 dragons into the pocket of Destiny, 7,000 gold ahead. Every lane leading here just about now. Yeah, even the mid lane, DSC Guard has himself a pretty significant lead of 400 gold over his opponent. And yeah, unless this Cassin's going to be side laning, able to pick up level 16, I don't see who's gonna stop DSC on the roll here.
Yeah, I mean, they got to get to like super late game with Ornn items and everything. That's the only real possibility I actually see that For Fun can actually compete with Destiny at the moment. But being 7k gold down just looks very rough. They should be trying to freeze all waves as much as possible. They should be farming, playing it safe. But then again, if you put on a timer and you got to compete for dragons and barons, then it kind of forces the tempo. And they don't really have any wave clear in general as well. So Destiny definitely going to try and start to run away with this in the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, they're grouping up for this Herald. It's probably going to be taken towards that top or bot side there if they're able to convert it into a second tier tower here, which I'm sure they can with how far they are ahead. It's just going to snowball this lead even further. And yeah, now we're starting to see the Merc Tread, we're starting to see the Wits Ends come out. The magic resist is being itemized, guys. It is looking horrible for the side of For Fun here.
Oh, and that item just got nerfed as well, but they just built it anyway. But
Yeah.
the nerf wasn't that significant, I suppose.
Yeah, it's more of an early game nerf to these AD carries building it, but right now, they're scaled well past the early game into these mid-game builds here. I think it's going to do them just fine, and it's really that magic resist component that's going to do them wonders, and that hasn't been touched at all. And I don't know if I agree with the Castellan itemization Liandry's here.
Oh, that's a bit rough. Yeah. A lot of people make that mistake of building that item. It's only a very situational item, and it's probably not one of those situations.
Oh,
Oh my
Corruption
god.
got caught out. They combo him down. Look at the damage out of Varus. Where did his health bar go? You negate magic damage with your passive, but you do not negate physical. And we see the damages Varus can deal once he lands his combo there. That was disgusting amount coming out of Ardmona, and that was on one of the tankier targets here. If he's able to find this Kaisar, God forbid, with no resistances at all, you're going to get torn to shreds here. They're just diving. They know they haven't rotated in time, and look at them dropping the Herald, taking down the second tier, like I said, getting so much gold in their pockets, looking for an inhib tower, but looks like they just get the charge and leave here. And yeah, what can the side of For Fun do?
Yeah, I mean, I literally hate Pillar with a passion. Like, that ability is just so strong. It just forces flashes out of anyone on your team. It's just the slow is way too much. Even Merc Treads doesn't help with that. And yeah, that's why I don't really like.
That's looking a bit sus, but he has his team to back him up here, so it's not sus at all. It was calculated from the side of Jimbo Baggins. Kelthalis probably thought he was inting a kill over, but it's actually a complete bait there. The bot lane is there to assist and take down Kelthalis there. And yeah,
it's really hard to avoid those and resist those baits to get back in the game. Destiny being a bit cheeky on that one, I reckon.
Yeah, and we see already the just blue trinkets coming out from the top laner and the mid laner. That is a bad sign. It means you're probably forfeiting a lot of the vision in your jungle, and you're just looking to scout out some bushes off in the distance, just looking to check those objectives with the blue trinkets. But I don't even see the point. You're not going to be able to fight these objectives with those blue trinkets. I think, look, 3 itemized now. I think fighting for that vision is especially important, because if you're able to get that vision, you realize someone's out of position, then you can go for that pick here, and that's really all you have to get back into the game. If you're having any type of skirmish, any type of team fight, it is game over for the side of For Fun.
Yeah, and it's looking pretty over at this point. They're going to secure their 3rd Drake without any contest. Diana is on the top side, surrendering the dragon, so to speak. So Ocean Soul definitely strong for closing out games.
Thankfully for them, it isn't the Ocean Soul, it's the Cloud Soul.
Oh, Cloud Soul, sorry. Yeah.
But, yeah, even then, champions like Trundle with Cloud Soul are just absolutely disgusting. These melees that have to run at you, and he's already so tanky with that Wit's End and that Merc Treads now. As soon as he gets that Cloud Soul movement speed and he's on top of your Kai'Sa or something like that, there's just nothing you can do to get that Trundle off of him. Yeah, right now, I don't see any way back in for Fun. Like I said, it had to be around those picks. You got to be playing around your vision, but right now they just have blue trinkets just scouting out the objectives, but so easy to clear the blue trinkets. That vision won't stand for long here, and yeah, you've got not much left.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Corruption is doing. He's just delaying his power spike even further by going for the Warden's Mail. I understand the concept of it, but if you're going to pop off in these fights and you want to be sort of tanky, same time you got to do damage. The rest of your team's too far behind, so bit of a miss build there coming out of Corruption, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just there's no real winning scenario for you as Corruption here. If you're building that AP, they're building all this magic resistant counteract here. Do not look at top lane. That is a dead horn. And yeah, just caught out of position. This is the vision I'm talking about, you know, there's literally nothing into that top side, even though the whole of For Fun was there moments ago. Just they've come through and just absolutely obliterated the vision on that side of the map. But yeah, there's not much you can do if you're building that AP. You're just completely squishy, but you have an opportunity to one-shot some characters like that Orianna and that Varus. But if you build a bit tankier, then you're a bit more durable into the fights. You won't get one-shot yourself, but again, you're not dealing damage. And nice try from Blaziken, only it really wasn't. It was a 5v1 murder under the tower there. And yeah, there's not much opportunity for him to do anything.
Yeah, well, he did have his activatable Zonias and Predabelt, but no point running it there if you
Ooh,
got a pillar on top of you and you can't move.
that was almost a deadly
Oh,
ultimate corruption. Kind of tries to scare them off, tells them to get off his lawn, but they've already dealt
that
the
damage
damage.
is crazy.
Yeah,
Varus barely charged up his Q and did 1/3 of Greedo's health. That's just bonkers.
yeah, it is pretty insane this damage that he's gonna deal, and guess what? He hasn't even completed his Manamune, so it's gonna get very hard to deal with this Varus. And they have engaged, but I don't think they have the morale. There's no plays being made. This Alice is not making those flash pole plays that he was doing earlier on into the game. This Diana should still be looking for those flash plays onto the back line. They have to be looking for something here, because if they can keep conceding all these objectives around the map, then yeah, the gold lead's getting bigger, and you're not exactly scaling yourself. The enemy team's getting way too strong at this point. And yeah, Varus's items are just looking disgusting.
Oh.
And look at that that Trundle.
At this rate, he's going to one-shot someone at this rate. Oh, plus.
That Trundle's probably sitting close to 200 magic resist there, 160. When he ults, he will definitely be at 200 magic resist plus. So yeah, and look at this Diana. Instead of making the flash plays forward like I want to see, he's flashing away, and it's not even enough. He's going to get picked up by Izuko here.
Oh, this is rough.
Yeah, and Yacinth now getting caught out, burns the flash, burns the ultimate, just spare my life, please, as she begs as she runs for the hills there on that Alistar. And these are not the plays you want to see when you're behind. If you're using everything just to survive, then what do you have left to fight back with? And Corruption, he's nowhere near as strong as this Trundle. We see this Trundle tanking out on 4 champions. It's in there. Here comes the shockwave. Greedo's dead. Yacinth is dead. Kelthalis, can you escape? The Destiny team coming for you into the fountain here. No, you can't. And Destiny are going to be closing this one out at 24 minutes. They fell to Team 4 Fun once before, not twice though. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, no chance. No chance here. Destiny absolutely smashed 4 Fun into this rematch.
Fortunately, I think my client crashed. But
yeah, mine just crashed at the end there too. Didn't want to show me the Nexus explosion, but yeah, it was a dominant performance start to finish from Destiny there. And what else can you say? Destiny looking stronger than ever coming into these playoffs almost. They want to secure the playoff spot, and they want to go take it all the way. Transitioning over to the graph, and you can see the damage that was dealt there. For those unaware about Destiny's logo, those 2 stars are actually the championships they've picked up here in NTE Esports Season 1 and 2, and they're looking to put another star onto their logo here for sure with performances like that. Just for fun, really just shutting them out, showing why they're on top of the leaderboard. And yeah, what else can you say other than just a dominant performance? And just, there were some factors we would like to just talk about, like the draft not going as well as we'd like from 4 Fun. They had pretty good early responses, but then they just pigeonholed their entire team into magic damage. But I don't think it ended up mattering at all, because the laning phase was just completely lost. Doesn't matter what sort of composition you build, because any composition does not work when you're 7k down at 10 minutes. It is just
that's a lot.
dominant performance. And yeah, I guess we can just start getting into the conversation of MVPs. And for the side of Destiny, I think it's just pretty obvious. Damage was dealt. Damage was dealt from a certain player. And yeah, he was very dominant in the laning phase. Ardmona, I've been talking up his Varus, and people haven't caught on, but I think this is now in the coffin. I know Youngbloods are watching right now. They are watching with keen eyes, and if you let this dash through into your next match, then you're gonna be asking for some trouble here, because Ardmona just showed why he's so proficient on this champion. But yeah,
hopefully other teams to pick it up. But very underrated AD carry in this current meta and patch.
Yeah, any other thoughts on the MVP? Any honourable mentions? I think that's my only candidate, of course. Asuko having a great performance. DC Guard having a great performance. Even Jimbo. Jimbo and Drunken Monk. But yeah.
I reckon Drunken Monk made Ardmona look very good, even though Ardmona put out the damage and played flawlessly. Your support just performing to perfection with that scoreline and crowd control score. And yeah, an honorable mention to Drunken Muck for sure, able to make those plays onto the Alistair and to the Kaiser, and Ardmona cleaning up with the Varus. But I just do have a soft spot for supports when they perform pretty much flawlessly. But Ardmona did close out the game with his damage and his ability to accelerate his lead, only thanks to Drunken Monk.
Yeah, Drunken Monk letting lots of crucial plays there, but Ardmona just played every situation perfect. He found so many arrows, just Qs through multiple members, just really turning the fight on its head. That early play into the bot lane, just landing the Q, W empowered through two champions at the same time, just chunking a quarter of both their health. It's just really great play. Of course, Drunken Monk setting up those plays, but Ardmona taking it a step further from your usual follow-up. And yeah, even the crowd control score, he's not too far off that Leona. He's locking down targets of his own with that ultimate. So
yes,
really doing well on that Varus. But SVP also, I think, there was only one player that had much hope, and there wasn't a lot of it left, as he started building defensive and the magic resist was itemized, nothing left. But Corruption definitely looked pretty good in the laning phase. If the team was able to stabilize, then that Caston might have been able to make it to late game, and we might have been able to see some great things from him. But fortunately, just not able to scale up like he wanted onto that pick. But still, definite good laning phase coming out of a traditionally weak champion. So I think the SVP for me is going to be Corruption. Don't know if you have any other thoughts onto that.
Yeah, just everyone felt kind of stale. Their sub-in jungler, Blaziken, tried to make a few early plays, but got absolutely smashed by Trundle in the early game. And just whenever Pillar was up and you didn't have Flash, it was not very good time for the Diana if you fall behind that far, that early in the game. But fleet footwork with Cassidon, not bad in the laning phase. Held his own against Oriana, so yeah, gets my SVP vote.
Yep, so that is your SVP and MVP sorted there. And yeah, Destiny looking stronger coming into that. I think they're basically locked in for playoffs at this point. I'm not too sure about the timeline. I know that there's probably a timeline where they aren't going to make it, but their strength of schedule is a lot easier than the rest of the teams. For example, Youngbloods have to play Destiny and Jupis. Some definite heated matchups there, but Destiny have pretty easy road closing out the season. Kedgerina Gentlemen, they've fallen to before, but if they're going to perform anywhere near what we just seen, then I imagine they're going to be sitting a lot prettier coming into that matchup. So I think Destiny are sitting pretty right now into playoffs, locked away their position, and we'll see who else is able to make it here. But they can play Gatekeeper versus Youngbloods. I think Youngbloods have basically made it too, but I think there's still a timeline. If Youngbloods lose all their matches, they could be kicked out. They have to play basically all the top tier teams. Youngbloods, I just realized they have to play Destiny, they have to play Jupis, that Youngbloods have to play Job Seekers, and they have to play Corona Spaceship. Literally, all the top teams, Youngbloods have probably the hardest schedule ahead of them. So I'm hoping they've been practicing. They have their game faces on right now, because it is going to be an onslaught for them as they sprint to the finish this season. But I think they're going to be okay. They've performed spectacular the rest of the season. We'll see whether they're able to close it out.
Yeah, so I just did my calculations. They're on 10 wins at the moment, I believe. If they lose the rest of their games, there would be a three-way tie between Youngbloods and if we win our games, Job Seekers and Corona Spaceship, it will be 10-6 across the board, I believe. So might be the first time in history, potentially, of a three-way tie for that last spot.
Yeah, I wonder how
the two last spots, yeah.
I wonder how that even ends up working. I would have to figure something out as the TO. Normally what happens is when there's like specific ties like that, they look at the head-to-head matchups. If one team's beaten a team, or like they've 2-0'd them in the past, then normally they get the pass just straight ahead.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if they lose all their matchups. I think Youngbloods will be 1-1 versus all the teams, so we might actually have to play like a three-way tiebreaker. Like a tournament of sorts. And who knows how that's going to work. Hopefully it doesn't happen, otherwise I'm going to have to just tear my hair out thinking of a fair, competitive solution here. But I think Youngbloods surely got to pick up one of the wins there. If they lose to all those teams there, then who knows? Maybe they don't even deserve to be in playoffs. I might kick them out myself. Because if they lose to every other top 4 team, then yeah, that means that their chances in playoffs aren't going to be looking as great. But I'm sure they're able to pick up one of these wins here. So hopefully, no crazy tiebreakers to be had.
I hope so, but we'll see how it goes.
But yeah, the next game will be starting shortly, guys. We'll probably have a short intermission, just a music break in between, get this next match set up for you, and it will be Youngbloods versus Destiny. This matchup, I believe both teams are on 10 wins right now after that match. So this will be a very big matchup for you guys. It's going to definitely determine a lot of the seeding, and that's not something we talk about a lot here. Seeding is important coming into playoffs because the higher seed you get, the easier matchup you'll get. Technically, obviously, in the playoffs, the first place will be playing against the 4th place. That is their reward for finishing first. They get the technically easiest team to play against in that 4th place slot, and the 2nd and 3rd will play each other. So first place is looking hard right now, but I don't think any team wants to go against UPI's first round in playoffs. But still, you got to go through them somehow if you want to pick up the W. But I think your chances of 2nd and 3rd are much easier if you avoid playing that first seed, and that's going to matter a lot to these teams. So no one wants to cop that 4th place spot, so we'll see whether Youngbloods and Destiny can kick each other down. But right now, we will go to that break, guys. We'll be back with you shortly with this match. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
See you soon.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at 8 p.m. scheduled for our matchup here, Youngbloods vs Destiny. Hopefully, we are about to kick off into Champ Select here, and that we are kicked off, transition that over on time for once here. And yeah, what a matchup we have here. Lots of banter in the pre-game chat. There's lots of adrenaline probably running right now between these two teams. They're probably looking forward to versing each other very much here. You can already tell. And yeah, looks like the target bans have already come out here.
100%.
Yeah, no surprises from the bans. DSD Guard having a great performance onto that Ariana. Jimbo, of course, loving that Yorick pick here. They're already taken off the board in Dark Knight, showing himself as a premier Zoe player. Getting taken off the board, and now Spingding's Caitlyn, though. How do you rate it, his Caitlyn? Because, yeah, Ardmona hasn't taken to that champion, so I can see why that's an easy ban. But Caitlyn, this meta, not too strong at the moment, but Springding has been picking up lots of games on it, and yeah, teams is respecting it.
Depending on your composition, Caitlyn can be very powerful, but is probably just a very staple, comfortable AD carry that you can't really stuff up on. Has an escape, has a long range ult, has decent poke at the longest AD carry, auto attack range in the game till Tristana scales up a bit later, so maybe they want to put something in Shifting's hand. Maybe they're hoping for the Vayne to come through and see what they can do with it. But yeah, bit of a comfort ban, I suppose.
And what do you think about that first pick that just came through? I think picking Brand this early onto the draft is really risky here, but they've gone for it. And of course, Brand being flexible, he can go into that mid, can go into that support. Even the jungle we've seen, but it still tells the enemy that, hey, we've just picked a squishy mobile mage. If you pick dive right now, this Brand is going to be finding it very hard to do much into this game.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough for Brand to do anything. But you can always unleash his combo in like half a second to a second, depending how quick his fingers are, and pretty much go down. But yeah, it's good to see ACST pick up the Diana here. I know Guard plays it a little bit, but more supposedly would be in the jungle. But it's good to see my favorite champion being picked up by other teams. I'm just a bit sad it gets banned away from me too much.
Yeah, you get to watch other people playing on the playground, but you never have any time for yourself.
They don't understand how good this champion is, but that's why they're playing it. So I'm waiting to see some unique combos, but I'm not seeing any yet. Pretty standard Dyna combos coming through, but Nick Chu on his signature Sejuani, they allow him to be comfortable, and picking top this early in the draft? No, they do want to take Vayne because they know Shifting doesn't play many other champions. So, very favorable matchup for Varus unless Vayne starts popping off. So,
yeah,
bit tough.
Obviously, the tumble being very useful at dodging out on those Varus Qs, but just Varus isn't all about those Qs. He has a lot of lane presence with that hail of arrows. He's able to control the lane, and that is out of the blue pick from DSD Guard. He's normally picking up his control mages, but he has dabbled in the Akali a bit. But to pick it blind here, basically blind. They don't know if that Brand's mid, but he's opting already for that Akali into this round here, and that is a very deadly combo. But that's exactly what the doctor ordered to take down something like the Brand here, and Akali and a Dyna are going to be nightmares for this Brand to play around.
Yes, so there's an actual strat to deal with Varus in the later parts of the game, and I'm wondering if Fast Run has actually picked up on it. It's a bit risky, but they can pull it off. If they manage to pick a Nivea support, they'll be able to give Varus a bit of trouble with a long-range stun and Condemn to follow, but bit of a risky combo to pull off, but even J4 support's on the table as well with that same interaction. But I think last time DST Guard had a pop-off game, he had like 15 kills or something.
Yeah, his Akali was very scary, yeah. But I can't remember what team that was into, but playing it into one of the better mids of this tournament, Dark Knight, we'll see whether it gets punished or not. But Dark Knight has played the brand mid before. I don't know if we've seen Fast Runner play it. He's normally playing those engaged supports, and right now the team doesn't really need it. There's engage in the way of Sejuani, so that brand can definitely go into that support role. But I don't know if you're going to pick up a success there with a Vayne brand bot lane versus a Varus and possibly another engage support here. They might just double down onto the poke in that bot lane. Prodigium is very flexible with his champions, and we don't know what that bot lane is going to be like yet. But looks like they're probably going to pick their support here. He's hovering the Rakan, and yeah, they're just picking up more engage, more dive. And if you weren't watching earlier, what happens when a Rakan played into the brand, then yeah, you better go back and watch, because you're probably going to see it again here. The Rakan has a very easy time catching out that brand if he's ever walked up, because of the way his ult and his W works. He just absolutely just catches that brand out left, right, and center. And right now, Django's hovering that tank top laner. The Sion's going to be locked in. That was spamming a lot of the Bulbs copy pasta into the pre-game. So it looks like it was a premonition that Django Sion is coming out into the top lane. I wonder if he's gone full lethality as well. I wonder if we will see any solo bolos coming out of Django here. But Dark Knight looks like, I don't know, is that going to be the Vayne support, or the Vayne support rather, the Lux support, or the Brand support there? Because, you know, we've seen Dark Knight play both Lux and Brand mid, but Fast Runner is going to debut his mage bot lane here, and looks like right now he's hovering the Lux. And
yeah, let Trundle through when he was popping off. So, but this time he's up against a tankier pig, which is Sejuani, so won't be able to bully him as much. But of course, Trundle being in the top lane and Diana being in the jungle. I gotta say, I think Youngblood's drafted decent here. I can see what they're trying to do. But I'm excited about the top lane matchup between Django and Jimbo. We'll just see who has the stronger J at the end of the day. Man, I really want to see the Sion pulled off, but he can be easily countered by Trundle with just pillars, and his combo is pretty much useless. So see how it goes.
Charge up that Q for as long as he wants, but as soon as Trundle taps his E, he can cancel that Q at any time, and you are in a mobile Sion trapped next to a Trundle. It is a bad situation, so quite the counter pick busted out by Jimbo Baggins there. It's not always clear cut, but yeah, it's definitely a Trundle favoured matchup into the top lane, and I can only imagine mid lane Brand has a little bit of an opportunity early game. He can poke out the Akali, but once that level 6 comes through, then it's really a nightmare for Brand to get around all that mobility that Akali has. He has to land a stun on a target so mobile, so slippery, and a target he can't even see half the time. So his work's cut out from mid. If he can make it to level 6, and he already generated a lead, I can see him pulling it off. But yeah, if DSD Garden makes it to that level 6, it's going to be a really difficult matchup in the mid lane. And even in the bot lane right now, Varus, even though he's paired with Rakan's not amazing in lane by any means, but still Varus just brings so much more than the Vayne does early on that I can see it going that goes DST's way as well. It's just maybe in the jungles, Nixu has really been the X factor, pulling off all these ganks. We'll see if he's able to catch DST sleeping here, but Azuko onto that Diana. He's not as powerful early game, but if he makes it to that level 6, these champions, Lux, Brand, Vayne, also vulnerable to this Diana pick and the Akali pick. So, I don't know. I think this is just a straight out draft from Destiny, in my opinion.
Yes.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I understand that the draft is heavily in Destiny's favor, but Youngbloods are known to pick some comfort picks just because they understand their champions well. They can perform mechanically well on those champions to potentially match the individual prowess of Destiny players in general. I understand the team fight. I understand Django's going to have a really hard time in topside if he goes to the build that I think he's going to go, and Trundle's going to slap him in the face. But all eyes are going to be on this bot lane. Can shifting on this Vayne actually pop off, because he's going to carry the later stages of the game while Brand and Lux just pretty much unleash all their combos and all that. So there is a win condition in the Vayne pick. Just hopefully this Akali and Diana don't get too fed to the point where she gets one shot. So we'll just see how that goes. And with Witzwind also nerfed, it's going to be even tougher for Vayne to pull a rabbit out of the hat, so to speak.
Yeah, well, we will touch more on that later. Right now, we'll go over to our sponsors, give them their shout out for the night. Territory Zone, Paul's Ice Coffee, Northern Territory Government, and McDonald's Darwin, all our major sponsors of the season, helping us out so much, providing you this beautiful esports scene that you have here today. And also the minor sponsors doing their part here, helping us out where they can, giving us discounts, giving us goodies. Next Tier Entertainment, Serotonic Beauty, VR Gamers, Game & Creations, Tracy Village Social and Sports Club, Howard Springs Tavern, The Rabbit Hole, Palettes of India, Fresh Point Cafe, John John's, Diamond Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting, all helping us out a ton here. Thank you to them, and with that out of the way, we are into our featured match of the night.
Ooh,
And
yes.
it is going to be a banger, but like I said, I do got to give this draft over to Destiny. They have so much more options, I feel, playing out this game. They have so much engage, they have so much dive, they have the winning matchups in lane. So it's really just on Youngbloods to outplay and show us what they're really made of here. And can they overcome the odds? Because, yeah, it's not as easy by any means. They're just playing around a Trundle pillar, catching out the Brand. Lux, they're playing around the Rakan that's easily able to catch them out. The Diana, Kali can dive in at the moment's notice. Varus ult, so much stuff to catch out these squishy champions that are Vayne, Brand, and Lux. And even though Ardmona's taken out the cleanse, they haven't taken any sort of cleanse on the opposite side. So if they get caught out by any sort of CC, they are done for. Yeah, all these champions can definitely one-shot them. And champions like Vayne don't have the luxury of building something like a Zhonya's, so it's going to be very hard for them to navigate around this. But we'll see how they do in the laning phase. Because, yeah, Youngbloods have shown themselves quite mechanical players. We'll see if they're able to find any prior advantage. And the pings are coming through. Both teams are on a crash course towards bot lane. I think Destiny are going to hop in that river brush there. But Youngbloods might be able to find the cheeky little bush cheese. It depends.
Yeah, we had a scrim with them earlier, and they definitely had a bit of a strat going. I won't reveal it, of course, but they really like to invade early. Ooh. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see. They're a bit too happy on the trigger finger there. Lux lands the Q. Good on her, but unfortunately the team's not there. Django would have had to flash Q as well and get the full duration knockup, but that's just asking a lot out of your top laner off of just a Rambo play like that, and it's definitely going to go in the way of Destiny. No damage dealt to that. Rakan is able to back, and of course this Trundle right now living in the top side, probably getting so much free information, not stressing at all. But I'm wondering if Asuko is actually going to get a leash here, if he's just going to go leashless on this Diana, which this Diana can do this, but her clear has been nerfed a decent amount. He's paying for help, so Jimbo, he's begging Jimbo to come help him, but unfortunately, I think it's 2 levels too late. It's going to spawn a bit earlier. But yeah, look at
that's okay. They had vision, so it's working out. They'll both arrive at lane roughly at the same time, but yeah, a bit of a iffy moment coming out of Jimbo, making sure Asuko is begging for his help, so to speak.
Yeah, he was probably just happy. He's got the vision down. They had a good positive play bot lane, and then he's just forgotten to help his jungle there. But Dark Knight already pushing in on the mid lane. This is what we expect out of Akali early game. This is the one time he ever shot Dark Knight, so he's got to make it count versus DSC guard. But he's built already Doran's shield, and it's going to be so hard to poke that Akali out of lane there. Just the Brand passive basically feeding into that Doran's shield. Just giving him so much free healing every time you land an ability.
Yeah, so Asuko actually got early intel. Nikchu actually smited his blues so that Asuko could look for a potential invade and steal, but not respecting the Trundle whatsoever, just gets pretty much chomped out of lane.
Yeah, he's got to have to be careful into this matchup. This isn't even a level 3 Trundle where he's going to skill that pillar, and right now we see that this Sion isn't tanky at all by any means. So this Trundle with PTA can definitely do a number on him. I was very surprised when I saw the PTA, but it's definitely better in these early game trades here. But I figured as you went on, the Conqueror would definitely bring a lot more in that to that duel. But it doesn't matter if he doesn't make it to that point.
Ooh.
Oh, that's going to be a bad trade there for DSC guard. He's going to get the Brand passive procced on him, but I think he's sitting alright here. He has the teleport if he needs it, but he has to be careful because Dark Knight's rocking that Ignite, and a poor trade could mean death for the Destiny mid laner.
Yeah, right now, Fast Runner sitting tight with no flash is finally going to get...
Oh,
gets caught out. Oh,
Prodigium held onto that flash early game, but he's gonna go down. Sping Ding finds the flash play on him, but the jungler of Destiny is there. They're gonna kite towards their own jungler. There's a skirmish in the top side. Jimbo's out of mana though. Nixu is here, but looks like they have the advantage. Azuko misses his Q onto 2 champions though. He's gonna burn the E. Nixu tries to flash out. Can he make it out? No, he can't. Azuko comes through with the passive proc, but Sping Ding escapes with his life. But still a positive play going towards Destiny in the laning phase. It's not what you want to see if you're a Youngbloods fan. On, look at Dark Knight, he's trying to make the mechanical outplay. I think that might do it. The Ignite with the passive. It's not, the last tick doesn't quite finish him off. And he's going to escape with a sliver of health there. My god, Dark Knight almost made a huge outplay, but it's not quite there. And now he's down a flash and an Ignite.
That's rough. I quickly clicked on Akali, and I think it was roughly 20 HP. But anyway.
And now he's getting punished. He is going to go down here no matter what. DSC guard comes through.
No mana, no nothing.
No nothing. No shot in hell that he makes it out of this one. And it's already looking pretty difficult for Youngbloods. We wanted them to get a lead early on, but right now they're at a deficit. And Destiny are looking good into their matchup.
I'd be so upset if I was guard. Pretty much ACST stealing that away from them.
Django's actually brought this top lane back a little bit because Jimbo Baggins had gotten rid of all his mana, but looks like someone is here to bail him out. He's dropping the pillar. Django still has flash, so I doubt he's going to die here. But Jimbo's getting a bit low there. He might have been able to turn that. He thought that his team was closer, but I think Jimbo actually may have killed himself there. Would have had to drop the flash at least if Django had turned around with that Q. But yeah, not looking good for Dark Knight here in the mid lane anymore. That Akali's so close to her level 6 and you are basically behind in this lane now. Prodigium hovering around mid, doesn't fancy a trade there going on to Dark Knight because Nixu's off in the wings, but if they have any advantage it's that 1 and 0 Vayne, but even then I believe the XP went in the way of the Varus there as he had to forfeit his lane running from the jungler. So it's not even a huge lead in the bot lane right now.
Yeah, DSD guard very close to level 6, but unfortunately cannot quite CS to make up the difference in terms of gold. Maybe could have got that kill earlier, but ACST decided to take it away. But now Prodigium being very active and picking up some more summoners.
Yeah, we see that this once that Lux Q is on cooldown, they just I'd like to say W key, but it doesn't quite work that way in this game. They just right click towards the enemy he's found and it doesn't matter at all. They have nothing to fear, even walking into that wall there for a potential condemn. Spring Ding's trying to trade back, but you have no summoners, and ACST is just going to absolutely blast you, Admona, even though he's so far away. He's playing Varus, he's able to help out in those situations, and that's just a poor call there from Spring Ding. Gets picked up for no apparent reason, and they're running out of carry threats here. DC are scaling up with these picks. This Diana isn't even level 6 yet.
This is a bad dive, but they might be able to pull it off.
Oh yeah,
no,
Alberta's tanking. Yeah, it's a misplay. Aisuko almost drops down himself, but Prodigium has got to try and make it out. If he's able to escape here, it's not too bad for himself. But the Luxu comes through and he finishes him off. Nixu, right place, right time, takes down Destiny in their tracks here, and that's the turnaround they need to get back into this game.
Very greedy play coming out of Destiny. They had vision of Nixu, but decided to go for the dive anyway. Thought they could pull it off, but nevertheless, they gave Shifting a brand new breath of life in this lane phase. They'll definitely need it coming up, and has evened up the gold. Oh, wow.
Oh, he's gone for the play, but he doesn't have the W for the damage, but at least it's going to force that Trundle to be very low here, but he can't really dive that Trundle. He's still going to back, but that Trundle still has ult available, so he's still able to fend off a dive if he wanted, but he's not taking his chances. His team definitely doesn't want this Scion to be fed, because I think if there's any threat here, if this Trundle falls behind, he's not able to deal with the Scion. There's actually not that much champions that can deal with the Scion. If this Scion gets too tanky. Yeah, ACST is still not at that level 6. Nixu off in the wings here, but they don't want to fight this. Jimbo Baggins is level 6, definitely going to turn that fight around with his ultimate. Dark Knight looking for a potential play, and DSD God goes in, he gets hit by the stun though, and he's going to get dropped down by the brand passive. Looks like he's able to make it out, but Fast Runner is in trouble now. Sping Ding trying to turn around this trade, and he does so quite effectively, chunking out Ardmona there, but still a positive trade for the Destiny bot lane. A heal for nothing.
Yeah, so the game has pretty much come to a stalemate ever since that missed tower dive coming out of Destiny. And Youngblood standing their ground, able to execute well. They just need to CS a little bit better. And they'll actually have the gold lead at this point. But yeah, right now this game is hanging on a thread. Will this Diana be able to find a dream combo or start taking dragons? Who knows? But they're always looking for trades, which is not exactly a good thing. Hopefully Destiny start taking some dragons and behaving themselves.
Yeah, Destiny have been playing on a knife's edge. DSD Guard 2 times now has been dropped down. I believe he would have died in that play just then if he didn't itemize Merc Tread so early. But yeah, just living so early on to that Ignite, almost dropping to the passive there again. He's playing on a knife's edge onto this Akali. But it's working for him. He's creating pressure around the map here. He's even in CS versus opponent, he's doing just fine, and it's only going to get better for him as he scales up. Oh, they're looking for the play. The ultimate goes wide from the Sejuani, unfortunately, and look, they don't have too much damage now that has gone wide. They're going to find the stun onto Guard, but yeah, he's going to flash out of that just fine there, and Jimbo Baggins is going for the play top lane versus Django. Django has built a lot of armor, but Trundle just eats all of that up, and they're making the play mid lane. 3 versus 2, finding the CC, taking down Nikshu. Dark Knight running for the hills, and there is no trade on the opposite side of the map. Prodigium just out roaming here, and Fast Runner had the back because Ardmona's poking them out in the 1v2.
Yeah, very tough. And right now, this DSD guard has been given a breath of fresh life.
And he's going to pick up a free kill in this mid lane. That is what the matchup is. He missed his stun. He died. That is just how tough this matchup is past that level 6 point. There for the brand. You see how easy it is for that Akali to land her skill shots. And yeah, now it's just running away from Dark Knight into this mid lane. A DSD guard picks up 2 kills, and he's got a pretty significant lead into that mid lane. And this going to be such a nightmare for the team to deal with this Akali.
100%. Like 1 minute ago, he had no kills, bought Merc Treads, didn't have any impact in this game, and all of a sudden is now going to be the carry just about. So that blue buff definitely going to be helping out DSD Guard in the lane phase for the next couple of minutes. Dark Knight definitely on edge here. Hopefully he doesn't get towered over again, but we'll see what Asako does.
And look at the rotations. DST does this better than any other team. And now Django, you have no ult. You have no flash, my friend. He's going to have to find an ult out of there. But they're playing around it so well, and he goes down so easily there. This Sion is nowhere near tanky enough at this point. I thought that if they were going to have any real chance, I think just playing around the tanks, because Akali does not nuke down tanks very well. The Diana does not nuke down tanks. The Varus, if he's going lethality, is not going to do too much to tanks. But right now the tanks are not ahead. They're going for a play ball lane, but he's just rooted under tower, and they're just feeding Ardmona in the 1v2. He's playing cool as a cucumber there under the tower. And Dark Knight trying his best here, trying to trade back on the Prodigium, but you just don't have the damage this early on as the brand. And yeah, disaster. Ardmona's picking up kills in 1v3s. Nikshu was down onto that bot side, and they're not able to find the kill onto this Varus. And this is what I was saying. I said it last match, they still don't show Ardmona any respect. He's doing way more than he's supposed to be doing as a Varus in these 1v2 scenarios. And yeah, Youngbloods are paying the price right now, letting this Varus through.
Yeah, everyone is pretty much on track to accelerate this game even further. The fact that they couldn't really get Dark Knight going is just going to be tickling these champions very soon if he doesn't finish his mythic. Right now, 0-3. Oh, 0-3 and 0. It's just looking really rough. And Lux doing Lux things. Probably the most fed person on a team at the moment, having the most AP damage. Hopefully she'll be able to roam a little bit more and match Prodigium.
Yeah, Prodigium playing it a bit scary there. He's in a bad position here, and he's certainly going to go down, but almost made it out. The last auto attack with the PTA is going to be able to follow him through, but yeah, just an unnecessary risk from Prodigium ends up getting punished. But again, they're so far ahead right now that I'm pretty sure they can hold on to this tower just fine. The plating is still up too, so they're not going to deal massive amounts of damage to it.
Yeah, I'll cut him some slack because I think this is his third game of the actual season, so it's good to see Prodigium back on the scene.
Yeah, he's coming in when his team needs him here. Nice
Ooh.
ult there onto Dark Knight under tower. He might actually go down, and Eddie's got a perfect position. DC Guard is going to absolutely shred them here. The Assassins in onto the backline. Like I said, like, what do these people do? They have no mobility. The Diana's dashing around, the Akali's dashing around, the Rakan's dashing around, and they have no shot at winning that team fight. Once the back rank is broken, they just straight up win out in our 4v5. And Jimbo is just reaping the rewards on the top side.
Ooh.
Django fancies his chances, but I don't think you have a chance, my friend. He's going to try at least get the kill, but he's just too little too late. At least going to try to take the minion wave, and Azuko dropping the BM onto him there. It's looking like it's a done deal here if Destiny keep playing like this. Almost 7,000 gold in the lead again. 7,000 gold lead this early on. And yeah, you don't have too many opportunities. Like, you know the game's bad when your support Lux. Your Lux is the first champion to complete their mythic.
Yes, it is very bad, but we'll just have to accept it the way it is. The game isn't quite astronomically out of their reach just yet. The dragons haven't come through. The objectives haven't really come through. It's just pretty much a bloodbath. Gold speaks volumes, but we've got to see how an actual 5v5 occurs when Youngbloods actually finish their mythic items and they don't get caught out all the time, just like this.
Yeah, and Fast Runner has that stopwatch. He's going to delay the inevitable by a little bit, but yeah, they don't commit to it. Even though I think they can, they're not taking any risks. Varus still has the advantage. He's going to drop the poke, just force this Vayne out of lane eventually, and if this Lux isn't careful, he might just drop to a single empowered Q.
Someone's roaming down to have a look here, and...
Yeah, he gets in range of the ultimate, and that is curtains for your Lux here, and this Vayne is soon to follow here. The Varus Q doesn't quite connect, so he's going to make it out, but they're just running for the hills. They're just trying to save their lives at this point. The tower is all but done here, as the rest of DSC have converged, and the Dragon is soon to follow with the advantage they picked up.
Yeah, it's good to see Fast Runner actually pick up some boots 15 minutes in the game. But, of course, rushing that mythic item is very important, and Destiny poised to take this Ocean Drag.
And yeah, it's not looking good for Youngbloods here. They've basically lost out on all lanes right now. This Akali is monstrous, this Varus is monstrous, this Isuko is monstrous onto this Diana. Doesn't quite connect the Q, so Nixiu's able to get out without too much pain. But yeah, look at this. This jungle's now belonging to Asuko right in the front of Nixiu. He cheekily smites that one away. Small victory, but yeah, this is what happens. And yeah, just this is the draft difference, you know. This Vayne is very short range, and hold that thought. They might turn it around. Asuko getting stunned under tower. The chain CC working wonders for them, but yeah, that's all they get is just a small pick onto Asuko. Decent shutdown, but still, look at the health bars. DC Guard's not done here. He's going to go for Fast Runner. He's going to pick him up. Nixiu soon to follow. He had the E. He didn't take it, but he's going to go down anyway.
He can't run away. He can't run away. All sides just absolutely gets demolished. Didn't know which way to go. Just did a 180 and pretty much dropped dead, but... Unfortunately, that's just the way it is when Akali gets this fed and the Diana gets this fed early in the game. The CS numbers aren't that great, but if you're going to be farming champions, then it's not so bad. But Youngbloods definitely have their work cut out for them, being nearly 10k gold down. Definitely looking nearly impossible for them to come back from this one.
Yeah, they had a shot in the laning phase, but now that the skirmishes are breaking down, they have no shot. This draft difference is just rearing its head, and it's so ugly to look at when you have a Vayne, a Brand, and a Lux all, like, the Lux has basically got the best. She has a stun, she's got some decent range on her, but the Brand's short range, the Vayne is short range. This Akali and this Diana are always going to get in range, and you're playing versus the Varus, you're playing versus the Rakan. The Trundle hasn't even shown up in the team fights to start pillaring. It's just so hard for these carries to navigate the fights, and if the carries aren't staying alive, then they're always going to lose out the battle of attrition with these tanks not being particularly strong. And right now, Armona is looking for the solo kill. He tries to find the solo kill, but Spingding burns everything just to escape with his life there. But I think he had that if he just charged the Q for a little bit longer, because the Q's scaling the longer you charge is actually ridiculous. So he thought he could one-tap it just to try and pick up the kill there, but doesn't quite have the damage to one-shot him that easily just yet. But yeah, They're just living in Youngblood's jungle like it's their own. Django is here to try and get something. He tried to find the ultimate, but nice dodge there from Azuko. But can you dodge the unstoppable onslaught? No, he can't. Prodigium comes in to take the bullet, but the teleport's coming through and they're running for the hills.
No.
Dark Knight is in a horrible position. What can you do? Eddie has flash as well. He's going to follow over the wall. DSD guard being so strong. Prodigium trying to find the wombo combo to set up his team, but they're playing so well around him. They're able to survive that, but here comes Ardmona. This is really just the Siege King here. The Varus is here to poke out all these squishy targets. There's so many people to poke out. This Vayne, this Lux here are just going to get absolutely chunked out by these arrows. Look how far forward he's playing.
Crazy, and shout out to DSD Guard, absolutely missing everything about 30 seconds ago, but picks up the kill. That's just how far he is ahead.
Yeah, and look, they're trying to make plays, but this is just the difference. You walk up to the Varus, you get rooted, and
that
you
damage.
You walk up to the Varus, you're getting rooted. You try and make any sort of play, then they're counter-engaging on you, and their tools are just so easy to execute. You just press the Varus ult, it's so easy to land at a target running at you. You have the Diana combo, you don't even have to land your Q. And look at the play Prodigium's trying to make. Dark Knight's going to go down there. We'll see if Django is soon to follow. Not quite, is able to make it out, but look at the gold difference. It's just tremendous. You see her running over this game.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen a team get nearly as much kills as the opposing enemy gold of Youngbloods. So this is looking very rough. It's a little hidden strat that a lot of Chinese teams look for. They try to get as many kills as possible, trying to match the enemy gold team in general. So it's a bit of disrespect. I don't know if they're imposing it here, but it's good to see Destiny flying out colors.
Jimbo Baggins has the ult available. He's procced it now onto the Sejuani passive, and look how tanky this Trundle is. Where is your damage? You have nothing. They drop the ult onto Varus just to try to peel him off, but he's actually caught out in a bad spot here. They're able to take him down. They pick up the shutdown, but Jimbo Baggins is still wailing away. The CC is there though to lock him down. He's going to try flash out, but here comes DSC Guard onto Dark Knight. Poor Dark Knight has had enough DSC Guard. He's going down again. This game, this Akali is legendary, taking down everyone onto the side of Youngbloods, and they just got absolutely demolished there. The Akali showing up, turning the fight on its head, and yeah, what a fight it was.
It looked okay at first when they picked up Ardmona, but as soon as DSD Guard came through and just imposed his will onto Dark Knight, just making him feel his wrath over and over again. Like, if you're going to let me pick Akali into Brand, I'll take that matchup. DSD Guard with such confidence.
Yeah, and the Spring Ding's acting quite confident right now. He might be able to pick up Jimbo, and he does, but looks like he is into the waiting arms of DSD Guard, but he misses his E here. He has a little bit of an opportunity to run, but where are you running, sir? And yeah, he realizes it. DSD Guard isn't even going to play with his food. He's just going to end it there, and looks like he gets caught out, but the beautiful Zhonya's to dodge out onto the Lux damage. DSD Guard and Prodigium trying to run for the hills here. DSD Guard is strong, but he's not strong enough to take down these tanks on his own. But here comes Ardmona. He misses out on the Q, and Fast Runner now is going to get jumped on. And Django, you're not tanky enough. The damage from Ardmona is too much. Ardmona's just flashing in, ignoring Django's passive, doing as much damage as he can, and he finds a kill. And he goes down eventually to Fast Runner's max range Q of the wall. Nicely placed from him, but Ardmona's just walking past the tanks.
Oh, so rough for Youngbloods, just trying to get whatever silver scrapes they can get in these fights, and Destiny looking like their former selves with Prodigium back on board. Drunken Muck also looked very good in their earlier game, but just it's good to see Prodigium back in his support role. We haven't seen enough of him.
Oh, big shutdown for Spingding, picks up DSC Guard there. I thought DSC Guard was completely fine, maybe had the W available, but he had already burned it, so Springding picking up a nice kill. That's a decent amount of gold, but I don't know if it's enough, because yeah, you can have all the gold you want, but you're still going to get one shot. Azuko, what was that? He doesn't need to land anything. This is just the tale of this game. DC Guard and Azuko. DC Guard and Azuko just missing all their abilities, but it doesn't matter at this point. They're too far ahead. A nice job from Prodigium, saying, Mr. President, get down, as he takes the bullet for Azuko. And yeah, it looks like they're going to walk out of this one, but Azuko's not giving his support any help there, just ditching him for his own, but gets out of his own volition there. Ardmona's back again. How long have we been in this topside jungle just constantly fighting?
3 minutes, I think, straight. It's going to go for even longer by the looks. They just don't want to do Baron. They rather farm Youngbloods here. But I guess... Oh, nice combo coming out, Varus.
Yeah, a decent amount of damage there, but String Ting in a bad situation here. He's going to be caught out a little, but he's able to find the Condemned to get out of harm's way. DST guard not in range to find the ultimate, but yeah, it's this game is getting dragged out a little bit, but that dragon is eventually going to spawn. Eventually they're going to head towards that Baron, and it's going to be curtains for the side of Youngbloods, but at least they're putting up a fight for the time being.
Yeah, and it kind of feels bad for Shifting here. Just getting a luck support isn't quite enough to enable him to carry the later parts of the game or try to get back in the game. But Django Scion definitely being tested here tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys saw that on the bottom side of your screen, but Asuko went in 1v3 and got a kill and lives to tell the tale. So yeah, if your Diana's able to do that, it's probably not looking good for the rest of Youngbloods there. So... yeah, DSC just having their way right now, almost 15k ahead. It's a miracle the game's not over by this point here, but looks like they're not going to play around too much longer as they head towards this Baron.
Yeah, they're not that far off. Youngbloods have 36k gold and Destiny have 33 kills, so it's looking a bit suspect, but unfortunate miss and whiff coming out of Nick Chu on the Trundle. Not sure if they were able to kill him or run him down anyway. And the free Baron pretty much going to Destiny here.
Yeah, Nick Chu has bought the chains, but who do you even chain up on the side of Destiny? There's too many threats. Maybe the Akali, but look at this Diana with her Rabdons. Why Dark Knight, man? Give him a break. Eddie is not giving a break. DST guard just taking him down over and over. And yeah, just showing, like, you gotta be careful when you pick this Brand mid, especially first picking this was very disrespectful. Like, Brand
It was.
is a champion viable into these lanes, but you can't just be too sloppy around with it, because, yeah, you see what happens. Case in point, DSC guards Akali.
Yep,
Yeah.
and if you don't have Flash, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get Tower Dove or just engaged on over and over again, and you got no peel to save you, so you just throw out whatever damage you can and just see how it goes. But definitely looking very rough for Youngbloods here. Hoping to stall out maybe a little bit longer, but this gold lead is on the edge of 20,000 gold, which is astronomical.
And Dark Knight, he's trying to play the game. He's just in range to land his combo, and he's already dead. And Spring Ding trying to play the game too, but Akali does not give a crap. You condemn her, you flash away, you do all this stuff, and she still finds her way onto you. Look at DSC guard dancing around the base. He has Zhonya's to avoid the damage of Django, and yeah, look at all the low health bars, but it's just not enough here. They're just toying with them.
Or Scion had Prowlers there, might have been a bit different, but man, 37 kills with 38k gold. It's very close, Blade. It's very close.
Close game, close game. I think they might be able to bring it back in a couple seconds as the Nexus explodes here, but yeah, it looks like unfortunately they don't, and the Nexus does explode, and Youngbloods get taken down again by Destiny. So Youngbloods having pretty dominant performance this season, but Destiny definitely has their number, it seems, as they come out with a pretty decisive victory versus Youngbloods here.
Yeah, when you get more kills than minutes, it's a very rough road and pill to swallow. But hopefully, Youngbloods can see the mistakes they've made throughout this game. That first mistake picking Brand, unfortunately, bit them straight away. So, looking pretty rough.
Yep, just some critical draft errors, and you can't even call them errors. Maybe it's just, at the end of the day, like, it's still winnable, and they still could have won this game despite the drafting, but you're just making it so much harder for yourself when you do these sort of things. Like, we've talked about Ardmona's Varus, he's very comfortable in this champion. People have been comfort banning all tournament, and to stop doing that at this point, we've seen Ardmona, he hasn't had pop-off games on these other AD carries, but then just give him this champion, which he's had a resurgence on, and he's just smurfed every single game he's played on. It's just disrespectful, and coming into the playoffs like this, it's just I don't understand why you do it now of all times. But
Yeah,
I'm sure they've learnt their lesson. It by no means they're not out of the competition. They're still sitting pretty towards the top end of the leaderboard, but still, you don't want to be giving out games where you don't have to. And yeah, unfortunately, they got caught off guard by DST guard on the Zakali. He's busted out once this tournament. He had a pop-off game, and he's busted out versus Youngbloods, one of the best teams in the tournament, and he's absolutely just demolished them on the Zakali.
yeah. Another 14, 15 kill game coming out of DST Guard. Just showing why Akali's a very difficult champion to deal with if you do not draft correctly. She's just one of those champions where if you make any draft errors, she's pretty much going to run away with it. And with minimal CC or any sort of damage, DSD Guard just pretty much ran away with it with a pretty standard build. Could have been even more aggressive, but I guess Asuko with a pretty aggressive build to go with anyway.
Yeah.
So who do you think MVP is, Blade?
Yeah, going over to MVP, I think that was just a spectacular performance from the mid lane there. He got so many solo kills. He was just absolutely demolishing the fights. As soon as DST Guard showed up, he was toppling Youngbloods left, right, and center. He just, from laning phase to the skirmishes to just like the team fights, he performed amazing onto this Akali. And yeah, he's shown he's not just a control mage player, which he's traditionally been known for his control mages, but he's busted out this Akali and absolutely torn apart one of the better mid laners here. So put some respect on DSC Guard's name. But
100%.
by all means, do not count out Asuko and Admuna. Asuko having a spectacular early game performance onto that jungler, and even though he's playing on Diana, traditionally not great early game, he's already making plays for his team, setting up so many positive jungle exchanges. And Admuna onto that Varus, we've talked about it enough. He's already picked up an MVP tonight, and he's done great this game too. But yeah, I think his mid laner has outshone him this time.
Yes, 100% DSD Guard popping off, showing Youngbloods that Destiny is potentially the number 2 team here based off this game. But hopefully Youngbloods can retaliate later on if they're able to secure a win later in the season.
Yep, but if we're going to go over to the Youngblood side and talk about SVP, it's a tough one. Sping Ding, obviously, I think is the most obvious answer you can go towards. He picked up a lot of those crucial kills. Bot lane was trading evenly to an extent there, but yeah, he just had a bunch of crucial errors himself that doesn't feel great giving it over, you know?
Yeah, it's very hard. I think Fast Runner of Lux did have a couple of crucial picks, able to give some gold back into his team. But Shifting was able to clean up a couple of those. So it's really hard. I'd say it's out of one of these two, Shifting or Fast Runner.
Yeah, I want to give it over towards the Lux. Just higher KP. Of course, the Vayne did find out those kills, but I think honestly those kills were a bit more of a mistake from the side of Destiny a lot of the time. They were just getting overconfident, like DST Guard in that top lane, just getting chased down by that Vayne. Had no reason to be there, just sacrificing his life for 3 minions. So I feel like Fast Runner did have some actual good plays where he caught people out with a binding. He caught them under tower. He caught them max range over the wall. He had some pretty decent bindings to trade back the kills. So
100%.
Sping Ding definitely fought, but Fast Runner, you know, like he was the first one to complete his mythic that game. Like he was really putting up a fight, keeping them afloat early on, and yeah, made some crucial plays to get some extra kills. So I'm happy to give it over to him.
All right, I agree as well.
But yeah, that is going to be us done for the night there. And yeah, what a set of games we had, and the leaderboard right now we'll go over towards. It probably hasn't been updated, but yeah, you got to keep a close eye on that leaderboard because it's starting to matter a lot more, and these seedings are going to be determined real soon. But I'll just run you guys through the Saturday schedule. And it's going to kick us off with AD Astra versus Casuarina Gentlemen, and then there'll be Casuarina Gentlemen versus Jupai's Angels. So Casuarina Gentlemen have an opportunity to have one last hurrah, show us what they're made of here. But then the final game will be Jupai's versus Youngbloods there, and this is pretty important for Youngbloods. You know, I think they've been aiming to take down a number 1 for a long time here, so they have their final shot at it this season. not many other teams have a shot left. I believe the only other team that hasn't played Jupiter the second time is AD Astra. So we'll see whether Youngbloods can do it. Because if they can't, then it's not looking good for AD Astra as they find themselves on the bottom. But AD Astra had a pretty close game the last time, so we'll see. We'll see whether they get the undefeated streak. But I'm sure everyone's looking to just take down Jupiters at this point. At least get something on the board. A little scratch upon their name here. But
Yeah, you got to be challenged a little bit, but we'll just see how the later games go.
But yeah, that is all for us, guys. Make sure you're tuning into Saturday. Some important games up on the line. But yeah, one week left this Saturday and the following week, and then we are done with the season. Everyone will be determined, and we'll be going into playoffs or possibly even tiebreakers, depending how things go. I'm excited to see how those matchups go. But yeah, it's this final sprint for a lot of these teams to make it into that top 4. So hope you guys are going to keep your eyes close onto this leaderboard, as lots of big matchups coming. Youngbloods versus Corona Spaceship, Job Seekers versus Youngbloods. So many interesting matchups coming your way. But that is us done for tonight. We'll be signing out to some music, and unless Chris has anything else to say.
No, not really. Just tune in for Saturday. It's going to be a banger, and we'll see how many tiebreakers that are potentially on the board.
I'm looking forward to it, guys. I hope you are too. Well, we will see you on Saturday for those games then. Peace out, guys.
I'll see you later.